run. You definitely don't see this kind of speed in like football, soccer, or anything like that. So yeah, and of course, soccer. It only gets really intense once the ball's close to a goal. But if the ball's in the midfield, there's nothing going on.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Who be 186 back again with another video, the Overrated Podcast. This is the overtime edition, and we are going to be talking about mainly. We're just here for the Super Mario Brothers spoiler cast. Ruben. Bro, I appreciate you saying that you boycotted it. We appreciate that, but I know you have no Wi-Fi right now. Nolan, how you doing, bro? Nice to see you guys here.
What's up, Nolan? Ruben, I appreciate y'all. Man, y'all came in quick,
Yeah.
Welcome,
nice
welcome.
and fast. You have no idea how much that means to me, man. Awesome stuff. I just wish Hoovy had told me about the link earlier so I could send it to everybody, but he just suddenly, spontaneously just made us live without me being aware of it. Thanks a lot.
No problem, man. You said we were gonna start at 6. We're gonna start at 6. So
Punctual.
you need the link, or you good? I forgot. I actually forgot to send you the link.
Okay, so whose fault is that?
Oh, that's
Not
my
mine.
fault. That's my fault. But you need the link.
No,
I see you sent. I
it's
see you
fine.
sent it. You sent it. All right, that's good. Anyway, all right. So you have traditionalists here. BAC Dark. Nice to have you back.
Right on.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to have this guy back, man. Um, but yeah, like Kubi 186 said, we are going to be talking about the spoilers on Mario Bros. Finally, all three of us got to see it. I was
At least
supposed to
once.
see, I was supposed to see it twice with somebody, but he decided to not bring me. I'm like, oh, okay, no problem.
You can go ahead and name drop. I was that guy. I completely forgot.
No, it's all good, man. It's all good. Like I'm just messing with you.
No,
It
we're
it,
good,
it,
man.
it kind of trust me. I'm used to it with all of the non-invites that I get from Hoovy 186. So you're doing it just one time, it's fine. It's Hoovy that does it in a constant basis every year. So
I got you next time for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah. So because everything I do in my life, I have to invite Steve. So that's just how it is. But anyways,
You never invite. That's the problem. But go ahead and try to justify it. Go ahead.
there's nothing to justify. Oh man. So anything interesting happened that you want to address before we get started on the podcast?
You first.
Well, we did talk about Redfall.
Yeah.
I do plan on doing a video either later on tonight or tomorrow regarding the Redfall and Phil Spencer's interview. Okay, he did an interview with Kind of Funny. It was an interesting interview, so I wanted to address
Mhm.
all that. So either later on tonight or tomorrow, I'll make a video about that. So it's pretty much taking over my timeline. So I might as well talk
Mhm.
about
Um, didn't you already do a video on Redfall?
it. But I'm talking this is really about the 30 FPS. This is about the game reception and pretty much Phil Spencer's comments on it.
Oh, okay. Speaking of that, so I have a question for you, Seafrin, because
What
Hoovy
up?
kind of gave me his point of view. Is it a big deal if a game is not 60 frames per second to you, in your opinion?
It is a big deal because we're in
Oh, it is.
2023. The PlayStation 5, the Xbox Series, and even PC hardware nowadays is so over the top, ridiculously powerful that we can get almost photorealistic graphics, depending on the game engine. If you guys ever heard of the Unreal Engine,
Yeah.
Unreal Engine 5, it doesn't have human models photorealistic yet, but environments, you can't tell the difference between it and real life. So if we can get our current generation hardware to produce that kind of graphical quality, but you have a game that can only run at 30 FPS, there's a serious problem here. Like, this is a
Mm.
serious issue. You cannot have any game running at 30 FPS in this day and age. The minimum should be 60. If you can push higher, cool, but your minimum should be 60. Like this
Okay.
isn't, 10, 15 years ago where 30 FPS would pass, at least on a console. PC, that's unacceptable. 100% unacceptable is 30
Right.
FPS. But on a console, you can kind of get away with that because you're limited on hardware, you're limited on this and that and the other. But now you look at the hardware in the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series, and now it's unacceptable in this day and age. This current gen of hardware, 30 FPS is unacceptable.
And when you
Minimum
are
needs to be
touted
60.
as the world's strongest console, it needs to be 60 FPS. When you brag
Exactly.
about 60 frames, it needs to be 60 frames.
Exactly. Don't say it occasionally hits 60. No, it should be a constant 60 and higher if it's possible. That's it.
Especially for a game as ugly as Redfall. So,
Well, and for any game really,
mhm.
for any game released from here on forward, if you cannot hit a 60 FPS minimum, you have a problem.
I
Absolutely.
I think for you, Seafring, I get it since you're a PC gamer, but from what I've heard, for what a lot of people have said, we still have a lot of gamers that can't even tell the difference between 60 and 30. So I think to a lot of people, it's not a big deal to them since they could hardly tell the difference.
The the thing with that is you have to keep in mind that if the console can push 60 FPS, then it falls onto your monitor or TV or whatever you have it hooked up to. So if you have like an older flat screen TV that only does like, 60 hertz or less, then you won't see the difference. But I promise you, if you play a 30 FPS game on a TV that's 120 hertz, it's going to hurt and you're going to know the difference. Like it's going to be night and day. I promise you.
Oh
It all
snap!
depends on what you're watching it on. The higher frame rate you have on the game source has to be able to be matched by the monitor. And for those people that say, oh, they can't tell the difference, I promise you they're not playing on an updated monitor or TV. They
Got
can't
it.
see the difference because it's not displaying that difference. But I promise you, if they were to play Redfall on a TV that's 120 hertz or even 144, I promise you they'd be able to tell the difference and be like, man, this sucks. You would easily be able to tell the difference.
Yeah, there was there was this guy on Twitter. I think Hoovy knows what he's talking about. Like he was pretty much trying to emulate what it looks like playing in 30 frames per second, and he was just like, I don't know, he was walking like as if he was some type of robot, and then the way he was picking up the bat, it was just funny. Like we would have to show you, but I mean, I'll look for it, later on to see because I really want to put it on display because that was just hilarious.
Oh
I
no,
see I see what you're saying.
yeah, no, it's absolutely hilarious when you see people trying to compare the difference between 30 frames a second, 60 frames a second, and for someone that's been playing games for as long as I have, who's been around when 30 FPS was the new standard, and anything less than that was just the norm, and now pushing forward 60 frames a second. Some games now are pushing over 100.
Hmm.
And even for really optimized games, you see nearly unlimited FPS, which is a possibility. I've seen that transition. So I can see the difference. I know what the difference looks like. And the difference between 30 and 60 FPS on the right screen is a night and day difference. Like it really does look like your character is moving, uh, like their movement, the game movement is choppy compared to where 60 frames a second is a smooth transition. You really
Right,
can tell that difference.
Yeah,
right.
and I told Steve that the game that did that for me was Fortnite. Because when the game originally came out on PS4, it was 30, right? And then
Hmm.
they added a 60 FPS update, and it was it felt like a completely new game.
It completely different.
Yeah.
And if you play
So
on PC, forget it because the game is so popular. The developer is able to spend a lot of time on optimization, so it works really well on many different bits of hardware. So even on the Nintendo Switch, it runs very well. which is surprising given the fact that the Switch is very limited hardware. But I
Mm-hmm.
play on PC when I do play Fortnite, and it's nice to see my FPS counter always at 100 plus frames per second, even during intense gameplay. I see over 100 frames per second because it's well optimized and my monitor can actually show how smooth it is.
Okay.
That's pretty cool. So what kind of monitor do you have for your PC, if you don't mind?
Well, I use ViewSonic monitors. I actually use three of them, two for my main rig, and then I have a third one for my second PC. But when I'm actually gaming, yeah, this is what I use as a ViewSonic monitor. It's not overly crazy. It's 24-inch. I bought it for like $140 off of Amazon.
Cool.
They're not bad monitors. There's better out there. Don't get me wrong. There's much better monitors out there with much higher refresh rates. But as of right now, I don't think I'll be updating anytime soon. Maybe like 5 years or so, then I will need to get a whole new set of monitors.
Cool.
Absolutely.
All right. So, anything else happening in your life, Steve?
No, I mean, I just pretty much have been working, and um, I don't really think there's anything else. Like I already shared, the comics, on Monday that I gotten. There was a couple, that I missed, but I didn't think it was necessary to share everything because it was too much. So other than that, yeah, I've been, pretty good. Well, yeah, I finally started to now that school is officially over. I mean, it's technically is probably back now for the summer. But man, I worked out. I finally worked out last night again, and geez, man, I am completely out of shape. Completely out of shape. When I'm on the treadmill, I'm usually going on the incline, like at the one of the highest levels. And bro, I had to hold on to the rail like as if I was going to collapse. My goodness, I'm so out of shape. So as soon as we're done with this podcast, I am going straight to the gym. I need to get my frame back. I need to get my strength back. It's that serious. Like I care about health and fitness, so I got to
Right
get
on.
back on. Your turn, Seafrin. What you got before we start?
Nothing, man. Same old, same old. Working, trying to be better than I was in the day before. So little things here and there. Um, I just finished upgrading my my lightsabers because I own more than one.
Hmm.
I the guy that I buy them from, who's actually a friend of mine on TikTok. He has his own lightsaber company called Level Up Sabers. You can check him out online.
Okay.
Um, I bought a couple from him, and he just recently updated the electronics inside. So now, not only do I get better quality audio when it lights up, but I get extra features such as being able to connect a Bluetooth to my phone and get extra features straight from my phone to the lightsaber itself.
Okay.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
and these are full combat sabers. This isn't like, it's just for show. Like I can take these things outside and have full clash combat with these things and know full well I will never break them.
Nice.
Yeah, these
Nice.
are real deal.
Okay. So if someone fucks with you, then you're gonna pull out your lightsaber.
Yeah, I can literally pull out a lightsaber and actually clonk them with this thing, and it's gonna hurt. It's gonna leave a mark.
Hey,
Okay.
I will always support anyone who wants to defend themselves, whether if it's a rifle, whether if it's a saber, whatever it is that you have, whatever it is that you could use, by all means, use it. Yes,
Absolutely.
sir. Yes, sir.
Anyways, well, since you want to talk about this, I'll let you take the reins.
Talk about what?
Game preservation.
No. We could do the Mario first.
No, we're not doing the moral thing. That's the main event. We're doing game preservation first.
Yeah, of course. The guy who has full control. This is my point. My point.
Why would we okay? I shouldn't have to explain this to you. But why are we doing the podcast today? Why are we doing the podcast today? You tell me.
Is that a rhetorical question?
No, it's a question I want you to actually answer.
Because all of us saw the movie.
Yeah. So why are we going to talk about the movie first, and then do a topic that we could easily have saved for Monday? But because Seaford gets here, since you already had an argument with him on here, because you already wasted my time with this argument in the WhatsApp, we can talk about the main event in the main event. You start the show with the appetizer. This is the appetizer. Game preservation is the appetizer. If you're not ready to do it, if you weren't ready, then that's all you had to do was say you're not ready. That's all you had to say. Instead of lashing out.
I'm not lashing out. I think that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing right now.
Okay. Do you want to talk about game
La-
preservation?
lashing out. But anyway, so now that the podcast officially had started, since somebody is having a temper tantrum here,
No one's having a
here
temper
here.
tantrum. No one's having a temper tantrum.
Oh yeah, there's definitely someone having a temper tantrum. That's you. But here's what we the reason why I wanted to talk
Trying to make
about
sense.
here's what we this is the reason why we wanted to discuss um, game preservation. So I'm going to share this real quick. And me and Seifring had a similar conversation not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the article. And I don't really think it's necessary to read the whole thing because this is somewhat old news now.
Right.
So we kind of know the gist of what's been going on here. But I'll just read this first half right here, and then we could talk about it, and then I'll show you my thoughts and give you my somewhat commentary. Okay, so Wii U and Nintendo 3DS eShop is discontinuation Q&A. As of March 27, 2023, at 5 p.m. Pacific time, it is no longer
Give me 1 second,
possible.
right? Go ahead. You guys continue. Give me 1 second, right?
Dale.
Yeah, yeah, no problem. It is no longer possible to purchase in Nintendo eShop or the Wii U system and the Nintendo 3DS family systems. It is no longer possible to download free content, including game demos. Furthermore, related services also ceased to function at various dates. As of May 2022, it was no longer possible to use credit card to add to an account in Nintendo eShop on Wii U or the Nintendo 3DS family system. This was the one thing that kind of irritated me, Seifring. I don't know if is back yet, but this was one of the few things that irritated me because you told us that your system, your two systems, the Wii U and the 3DS, will no longer you will no longer be able to purchase games for those consoles and handheld, correct? So
And just a quick iteration. This is only in regards to the eShop, so this is digital content.
correct.
You can still buy the physical carts if you can find them online and still be able to play the games. The consoles still work. The online capabilities still work, but the ability to add funds to your eShop account and make purchases of digital content only, that has ceased at the various dates that you see. Let me get pointed the right way. There we go. They're on the screen. So you can see May 23rd, 2022, you can no longer use a credit card to add funds to make those purchases.
Yes.
August 29th of the same year, you can no longer use the eShop cards, which were those digital cards you could find like Target, Walmart, or whatever.
Or
You can no
GameStop.
longer use those. Yeah, exactly, at GameStop as well. And then April 3rd of this year, you can no longer redeem download codes. That's like codes you would purchase from third-party retailers and then redeem those codes for the digital content in the eShop. So as of right now, May 4th, the eShop is 100% unavailable on both the Wii U and the 3DS for only digital content. So digital games, themes, specifically for the 3DS, demos, any kind of DLC content for games. Like, you cannot access that stuff. If you still can get the physical cart or the disc for games, you can still play those. And if they have like online play, I think that would still be available.
You mentioned digital cards. You know, I mean, you said physical card or you said digital card?
Physical carts.
Okay, physical cards.
Yeah, like the actual cartridge that you can
Yeah,
insert into your 3DS and play your games. Yeah, those
yeah.
will still work if you go out and buy it. Like I have a 3DS. If I was to go out right now to like GameStop, Target, or even Amazon and buy an actual 3DS game, the actual handheld physical cart, I can put the game uh, uh, into my 3DS and play it without issue. This this article only talks about digital content as it pertains to the eShops, both on the Wii U and the 3DS.
Hmm. Right. Um, and for me, I honestly, well, let me see if there's anything else that's important, regarding this. Okay, so yeah, here we go. So it says important. The ability to link wallets will be available until March 2024. Make
Hmm.
sure you merge your balances by March 2024. Keep in mind that you can create a Nintendo account and link your wallets even if you do not own or use a Nintendo Switch system at this time. Um,
Do you know what
do
that
you
means?
know do you know what they're talking about here?
I know exactly what they're talking about. So they're talking about any kind of balance on your digital wallet. This is funds attached to your eShop accounts, both on the Wii U and the 3DS. They have their own separate accounting systems, Wii U, 3DS, and the Switch as a third one. Because everything is connected via Nintendo and their online service, you have the ability through that link that you see there. It would allow you to essentially move your funds out of the eShops on the Wii U and 3DS, and then apply that funding to the Switch eShop to then be used there for whatever you want. That's what they're talking about, moving those balances from the old eShops on the Wii U and 3DS and move it to the Switch eShop, even if you don't have a Switch at this time, because you can
Right.
control all that online without the console.
Yeah, which I mean, which in my opinion, I don't really much, care that much because the whole gist of this is the fact that we no longer have any access to the digital market,
Yes.
and so to me, it just okay. It's like a nonchalant type of attitude, for me
Hmm.
because the whole focus on this issue is the fact that this is now another reason or another demonstration that I wanted to prove that I don't like where the gaming industry has been going as far as game preservation. And you, like I said, you and I had this similar conversation, and I honestly believe that what Nintendo is doing right now is a mistake. I think they're making a really big mistake. Only simply input that I still believe that the Nintendo Wii U and the 3DS are still relevant devices that have games that people till this day still wants to play.
The Wii U. Are you serious?
Yes.
All right, listen.
You're back. Oh, you're back. You're
Yeah.
back. I didn't even know that you're back. Okay.
Okay, first of all, I can accept the 3DS
What? Why? Why? The
because it's
3DS
more
the 3DS is an older device.
yeah, but it's also more relevant than the Wii U's ever been.
It's still an older device.
That's fine. But the thing is that you're saying that what they should just continue making games for the consoles?
No, no, no. The service should still be active
Why?
currently,
Why?
so that we could play the games.
No, who's we? Who's we?
No, just because
No, no,
you
no,
hate
no, no, no,
Nintendo,
no, don't use that.
just just
Don't use
just
that
because
BS on me. 'Cause
yes,
no, 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 don't use that
just
BS
because
on me. I have a
yeah,
Switch.
I
I have a
am because
Switch. I have a Switch.
no, yeah, yeah, a console that you still talk trash about till this day, right?
What the fuck does that matter? I
What?
put my money. I put my money where my mouth is. I have a Switch.
Seafring,
No,
Seafring,
no, no,
Seafring.
no, no.
Yeah, no, 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 no. I
No,
want to ask you the question. I
you're
want
not
to ask you the
you're not
question. No, no, no,
you're
no. Yeah, because you're going to get caught. You know you're going to get caught. So that's why I want to ask Seafring the question. Seafring,
Yeah.
if you see a product that just in general, forget gaming, just in general, if you're talking trash about a particular product, saying that it sucks, saying that it's overrated, just nothing but negative talk about a particular device, are you going to spend money on it? That's why you're laughing. Who in what world do you know anybody that has such disdain, such hate for a product, yet they still decide to spend money on it, still decided to invest in that particular product? In what world? Who do you know that does that?
I would think that even if they talk trash about it, they still must have found something about it that they found interest in, whether it's a single title, maybe a series of titles that can only be found on that particular a console.
All right, then let me ask you a question. What you just said just now, does that apply to me?
Yes, because you don't like.
I wasn't talking to you.
Oh, okay.
Well, let me ask you this, Huvi. You said you have a Switch, right?
Yes.
Do you have an OG Switch, a Lite, or the OLED?
The guy doesn't even know. The guy doesn't even know.
Look
He doesn't even know what he have.
Look at the watch. Look at the watch.
He doesn't even know what he have. This proves my point.
No, I definitely don't have the light.
Okay,
This
good.
is
So it's
the
either the original or the OLED.
OLED.
Okay, so you have an OLED. Okay, perfect. So that's a newer version of the Switch compared to the original one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what games do you own for it?
All right. So currently, I have Smash,
Okay,
Mario Kart, Tetris
Okay.
99, Renegades of something. It was some beat 'em up game, and
Doesn't even know what game he have.
And I have the Super Nintendo collection.
okay, perfect. Now, did you buy the Switch only because of the titles that you can only find on it, like Smash Brothers in this case?
Yes.
There you go. So that basically proves my point.
And
You can
fact,
shit on a
wait,
console.
here's the fun fact.
Let him finish. Let him finish.
All right, I'll let him finish. Go ahead.
I've always told Steve this, that while I do not like the design of the console,
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the fact that it's not as powerful as the other two.
Right.
I've always told him the saving grace of the Switch is the library.
That is correct.
That's what I've always said. And I also told him that as long as your console has good games, I will always try to support the console. Because at the end of the day, I care about the games. At the end of the day. I
can understand that.
So
let me tell you how. These are the exact same games that he could have gotten for the Wii, but yet he trashed that console also.
Yeah,
you could have got you could have no. You could have easily gotten Smash for the Wii, Mario Kart for the Wii.
The worst one.
Huh?
The worst Smash game, yeah.
You could have gotten all those games for the Wii, but you decided not to.
Yeah, because the Wii sucks.
Okay. So what changed? Because these are the exact same games that you could have gotten for the Wii. They're just sequels.
No, they're not.
Okay, they're not sequels. My bad. They're not sequels.
There are tons of games outside of the Marios and the Zeldas and all the other stuff that I'm going to buy on the console.
Well, if I can make a recommendation, if you want something intense, like, okay, Hoovy, have you played Dark Souls?
No, I don't like those games.
Okay, so then I would say stay away from Metroid Dread, because Metroid Dread is basically a Metroid game with the difficulty of Dark Souls. It's hard as fuck. Yeah. It's a great game, but it's hard as fuck.
Yeah, don't. He's not
a Metroid.
All right, so but there's still plenty of titles that you can get on a Switch, both physical or digital.
Right. But we got sidetracked.
Yeah, and mind you, Seafring, Smash Brothers is another game that he constantly say is overrated. Mm-hmm. A game that he said that there was a point in time where he said it was a garbage video game franchise.
I
You know
never
what I'm
said.
saying?
I
Yes, you
never said
did.
that. No, I
Yes, you
did not.
did.
No, I did not.
Yes,
Now
yes,
you
you did.
putting sauce on it.
Yes, you did.
He said a
I
single
will always.
title in the series was
Yeah,
garbage.
I said the Wii one is garbage. I stand by that. I've also said I said not the whole franchise, dumbass, but I said that the I maintain that Smash. I do feel Smash Brothers is a little bit overrated. I
Now,
stand by
now
that.
it's a little bit overrated. Well, go ahead,
Yeah,
go ahead.
I stand
Keep
by
keep
that.
changing. Go ahead.
I
Keep flip
stand by that.
flopping.
I
Go
stand
ahead.
by that.
Yeah.
I don't have to hide. I don't have to hide that.
Okay.
What we've gone past what the point is. You're saying that you want a company that is on the verge of releasing a new Switch. We all know they're doing that. You're saying that they should waste resources on a 3DS and a Wii U, two old ass devices, when they have a product that pretty much combines the two. So why should they keep supporting the old one? Why? Because you want to play games that you always say that you want to play, but you never play? It don't make no sense to me.
I mean, you can keep making stuff up all you want, but I even tagged you on my Twitter that I tried to purchase games on a 3DS, but it didn't allow me to. And that article pretty much told us why. We were not allowed, we will no longer have access to, or the ability, I should say, to put our credit card information to buy games. Despite the fact that the server was still active, they did not allow you to put your credit card information or your debit card information to buy the
What game you
games.
trying to buy?
There were let me see. There was what's that dude's
Give
name?
me
Attorney. I think you know what I'm talking about, Stephen.
Phoenix Wright.
Ace Attorney. Well, Phoenix Wright.
Yeah,
Phoenix
Phoenix
Wright,
Wright.
right?
Ace Attorney. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
there were Final Fantasy games I wanted to buy on there. There were I was trying to buy Sonic Boom on there. I was trying to purchase what Resident Evil, I think Revelations. I was
Okay.
trying to
All right.
get that. So there's plenty of games.
Wait. Okay. I'm going to look up Resident Evil Revelations. Okay.
Hmm.
All right. So here's my 2 cents on this whole thing. And truth be told, I don't think Nintendo should spend the time and effort to maintain these eShops open. But on the flip side of that, since they're making the active choice to no longer support these consoles in any way, shape, or form at this point, they should allow the gaming community the ability, hands-free, to create their own support. Now, in the case of both the Wii U and the 3DS, both eShops, the official Nintendo eShops, just like the article said, will have completely stopped working. You cannot purchase content, you cannot add funds, all that good stuff. But the community-made eShop is still 100% active, constantly being updated, and all those titles that you just named, you can still access them, still get them. The only thing is you would need to essentially hack your Wii U or 3DS. And then you would gain access to those games and many more.
So I had to pretty much like you said, pretty much hack the console. So spend extra money
No.
to I don't have to go to
I hacked my 3DS. I did it entirely free. The process is online. Okay. There's a step-by-step instruction. There might be like one or two things you might need to purchase. The biggest thing would probably be like a new memory card, which they use a SD card, which is actually the cheapest memory card that you can purchase. You can get a big one for not even $20.
All right.
The process is 100% free, and once it is done, you would have access to not only everything the 3DS can normally do, as well as what you've already purchased. So the functionality of the console, the base functionality of the console has not changed and will not change. You're simply adding extra capabilities that even Nintendo would normally frown upon but because they no longer support the console, they no longer should be in a position to say, hey, you can't do that. And you can look at them and be like, well, are you going to give me new stuff for that? No. Well, then this is what I'm going to do so I can continue to have access to a digital library of games that I want to have access to. So yes, it is possible to do this not only on the 3DS but on the Wii U as well. In fact, I did it to my Wii for that very same reason.
Okay. I actually have a um I guess you could call him, my cousin. He did the exact same thing where he hacked his Wii. Yeah, it was his Wii, and I think he
Mhm.
was able to play just about any game he wanted, including the Japanese games.
Yes,
That were
that's
not.
100% correct. You can play any game from any region in digital format, of course. But again, because Nintendo no longer supports the Wii, they should not be in any position to say, hey, you shouldn't be allowed to do that. But at the same time, they're not giving us anything to compensate. You know what I mean? Like, you're not giving me new titles. You close the eShop. So what the hell do you want me to do? Just let this thing gather dust on a shelf? No. I'm going to take it. I'm going to unlock its real potential by hacking it, and then not only play the games I already own for it, but then gain access to others that, because the eShop is closed, were closed off to me originally, but now have been reopened to me because I performed this function to the console.
See, for you better be careful, man. You can't be admitting that you hack stuff from Nintendo because they'll come after you. They will absolutely come after you. You better be careful, bro.
It's one thing if I'm like saying, okay, I hacked my Switch because I literally just bought the Tears of the Kingdom edition one. That's one thing, but we're talking about a console that is 10 years old, over
Yeah,
10
but
years old.
they arrested the dude for emulation for older games. So you
Yeah,
better be careful.
but that's the thing. That guy in particular, it was because he was hosting an emulation site and he was giving people the opportunity to download ROMs.
Mhm.
Hacking a console so that it can play those ROMs is not illegal, especially if you already own copies of said games. Like, let's say you have a Wii U, right? You have a copy of Super Mario World or whatever, right? Like whichever Mario game for the Wii U, right? If you have that game already, but let's say it's in storage because you don't want the thing sitting on a shelf somewhere. If you download the ROM for that singular game, they cannot come after you because you own and have already spent your money, giving them your money for the title. All you're doing is just saying, hey, I already own the game, and because you own a copy of the game, you are fully within your legal right to own a digital copy of that game or as many copies as you like. The only thing you cannot do is what that guy got arrested for, was host the content on a site for other people to download who did not originally purchase the game. That's where he messed up. And that's where all sites that host emulation content mess up. But the actual hacking of the consoles, they can't touch me or anybody that does it.
Okay,
and
we
and and I think I think Hubi is not telling you the full story. I think he also was selling those games as well.
Oh,
uh,
so that's doubly legal.
well, if you were
Yeah,
doing that, if you were doing that, then he was stupid. But I don't remember if
Exactly.
he did that. I don't know if he did.
Yeah,
yeah,
if he was
because
selling them, then he was a huge dumbass. If not, like even just hosting the content on a website and giving people access to it was already breaking the law. But him trying to make a buck off of it, yeah, he needs to be put under the jail for that.
But okay,
yeah,
but
that
see, go ahead.
yeah, see, like if you're making profit out of it, then yeah, sure, of course you're going to get in trouble for
Mhm.
stealing someone else's property. But if you're just simply downloading ROMs and and emulators, just so you could play games, especially Hoovy, when those games are not accessible anymore, then yes, you should absolutely have the right to do that. And whether if it's Nintendo, Sony, or Microsoft, they have no right to complain. They have absolutely no right to complain about people downloading these games for free if you are not going to allow us to purchase these games in the first place.
I actually agree with you,
Yes.
but let me ask you a question. Like, okay, see this thing right here, Revelations on the screen. Have you played that game?
No.
Okay, this is the game that you tried to buy, right?
I played the PC
If
version of that.
did you like the game?
It was all right.
It
I
was
mean,
okay.
I would not call it a like one of the better Resident Evil titles, but it was all right.
Okay.
Have you played you? So you haven't played this game?
No. Not
Have
not
you?
not no.
Was it one of the games that you were trying to buy?
Yes.
Okay. First things
Yes.
first.
I was looking for a physical copy first.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking for a physical copy, but you can now, you even if you go to a GameStop, a Best Buy, you cannot buy any type of 3DS games physically anymore unless they're like used. If
Mm-hmm.
they're, from, or obviously if they're secondhand, maybe you could find something on eBay. But
Mm-hmm.
and now they're pretty much impossible to find. Any 3DS game is nearly impossible, with the exception of minor few first party Nintendo first party games.
Okay. All right. All
But
right.
I was looking everywhere for Resident Evil Revelations, because remember, when that game came out, I didn't have a 3DS yet at the time. I bought the 3DS like way, way, way later, near at the end of its cycle.
When did you buy a 3DS?
I can't remember, but it wasn't
I'll be
that long
right back.
ago. Yeah, no problem, no problem, no problem. I can't remember the exact year, but but I know for a fact it hasn't been, like 6 7 years yet.
So okay. All right. So I bought the Vita when it came out, which was 2012.
Hmm.
Right. It was the same year that this game came out. So you tell me that you didn't have a 3DS till what? Like, did the Switch come out when you bought a 3DS?
I bought the 3DS around the time the Switch came out. Yes.
Okay. Then bro, this is all your fault. The reason why you can't find none of these games because you bought the system too late. You bought it too late. All this time you're talking about the 3DS is great, all the other crap, and yet you didn't have one. This is your fault. And I'm sorry, but it's not Nintendo's job to maintain an online service that nobody uses just for you. And your negligence, which is what it is. It's negligence. I can't sit here and get mad at Sony if I decide to go buy a Vita today. Right? If I decide to go buy a Vita in 2023, I go to the store and the store is gone. I can't get mad at them because if I wanted to play those games on the Vita, I would have had one years ago. I would have had one years ago. Now here's my thing. Like, to me, if these companies are focused on making new stuff, then I don't need them to game preserve the old stuff, because one is it's impossible to do anyway unless it's their own games. If it's their own game, then I can understand that. But if it's like a game from Capcom, that's something you have to talk to Capcom about. You have to talk to Capcom about that because they own the game. Whatever license is there, that's their property ultimately. But like when it comes to like them having to preserve these old ass no, it's not. It's not. No, it's not. It's not going to happen. It's unrealistic. It's completely unrealistic. It's not going to happen.
And that's why I push for the hacking community, because perfect example of the PS Vita. If I'm buying a PS Vita in 2023, like you said, I should have no expectation of having access to their digital library, their digital store, or anything like that. If I'm buying a PS Vita, so I can hack it and gain access
Absolutely.
to that shit aftermarket.
Absolutely.
But that would be the same thing with the Wii U, the 3DS, or any other console at this point. Or, if I'm gonna play titles that you can't find anywhere else. I mean, just look at Steve. He can't find a copy of Resident Evil Revelations for the 3DS. But if you hack your 3DS, then you can just get the game. You know what I mean? Or
Actually,
you can or you
there
can
are,
play it on a separate title, because Resident Evil Revelations, I played it on the PC. I did not play it on the 3DS, and it's
Hmm.
available on other consoles.
yeah, yeah.
Personally, I would prefer
PS4.
PC because uh, uh, the thing is that on PC, and this isn't like to bash consoles or anything like that, but
Uh-oh.
on a PC, digital content is always going to be available. I can still have access to games that came out 25, 30 years ago. I can still download and play on my PC to this day. You cannot say the same about any console right now or ever made. You
Yeah,
just
you're right
can't.
about that.
And I'm not talking about some titles. I'm talking about all titles.
Right.
I would still have access to them in a digital capacity on the PC. Now, again, not dogging consoles, but this is where some of them fall short. In fact, they all fall short in this capacity. Once they've reached their end of life, the companies move on to their next product. So that creates this vacuum of support that the company is no longer going to do it, whether it's Sony, Microsoft, or Nintendo. They're not going to fill that vacuum because they've moved on to whatever the next console is, to what their next property is. So they're going to move on. So that leaves this vacuum that needs to be filled by someone. That someone is the actual gaming community itself. And that's why I'm a big advocate of hacking consoles and getting access to this digital content, because it's not like the companies are doing it. They're not. They've moved on.
Yeah.
So
And I don't have
why
a problem with
shouldn't I take something I already paid money for and just make it work for me?
Yeah.
That's
And
what
I
hacking
don't
does.
have
It gives me that capability.
I don't have a problem with what Siegfried is saying or emulation. I have no problem with it
Mm-hmm.
because it's a way to it's the proper way to preserve gaming.
Well,
There's your
how does it
game
make
preservation.
sense? How does it make sense that you support, what these companies are doing, but yet you also want to support?
It's not about supporting what they're
Yeah,
doing. It's about understanding what they're doing.
No, but you still
Exactly.
support it. You said that. Oh, who cares? About old games. Or who cares about game preservation?
You see now you're getting you see when you get emotional, you start hearing things that never came out of my mouth. I never said I didn't care about old games. What I said is that they're not going to waste their time,
Okay.
Preserving a digital store that costs them money, that
Mhm.
costs them resources for what, like 10, 15 people? They're not going
Globally.
to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. See how you like to exaggerate, but go ahead. Like you know the actual numbers. But go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't know the number, but I guarantee you this.
He
I
doesn't,
know
but
for
the
a fact,
numbers aren't
I-
where they would need
I
to be.
know for a fact that there are more people on the Switch than there are on the Wii U and the 3DS combined. So that's where they're going to put all their focus on. It makes sense.
Even from a business standpoint, it makes sense.
It makes sense. I mean, PlayStation was dealing with the same thing. Like they just recently, I think they closed their PS3 store and their PSP store.
Mhm.
Like in 2023, if I go and buy a PSP, I ain't doing that to play their library of games. Because if I did, I would have bought one years ago, which I did. You know what I mean? I would have.
Not
What I
fair.
would have done was hack it.
Which
Which
is
I
what you
tried
would
to-
do in 2023.
Yeah, which I actually tried to do when I bought it, but it didn't work. But because I'm dumb. But I try. But yeah, but like it's just common business sense, man.
It is. I mean, you don't necessarily need to support it to understand it. I mean, I do. I do understand it, that at a certain point, you just got to say, okay, we need to move on. We need to move to the next big thing, the next console, the next generation, or the next game, or whatever. So at a certain point, you just got to say, okay, we don't have the time nor the resources to spend keeping this going when we should be focusing on this stuff. So yeah, these eShops are going to close one after another moving forward. But again, that creates that vacuum that needs to be filled in by the gaming community, which it does every single time. Think about it like this. You can go online right now, and let's say you have a PSP, a hacked PSP. You can download not only emulators for older consoles like the NES, SNES, but then be able to play those games on the PSP. Now, does the PSP still have access to its own shop? Obviously, no. But if you're buying a PSP in 2023, you're buying it so that you have access to a console that you can take on the go and much easier fits in your pocket compared to some of the other handhelds out there, including the Switch. Um, but also because it has a very good hacking community as well as an emulation community behind that. That's why you're buying these older consoles now, not because of the digital eShop, because you already know that shit's been closed. You're buying it because of its current capabilities, thanks to the gaming community on the back end. That's why I still have my Wii U and I still have my 3DS. It's for that.
All right. Steve, before you comment, let me read the 2 comments from Joe. Right, shout out to Joe. He says, "But you don't like digital anyways. You're anti-digital, so this don't bother you."
He was talking about Steve for that one.
Mm-hmm. And why does Steve always interrupt people mid talk? I do the same thing. I can't.
I'm as far as interrupting people. I'm working on that. But as far as you saying,
you don't have to.
But as far as you saying, oh, I don't like digital. Like I had already explained this to you. One of the key reasons why I cannot stand. Well, I shouldn't say I cannot stand, but why the reason why I prefer physical over digital is because when things are digital, you really don't have any type of control. So, for example, like what happened with the 3D with the eShops, or for another example with Game Pass. Just because you're a subscriber, Xbox could still say, "Well, I'm going to remove this," without your say so. You have no say in the matter, despite the fact that you're a subscriber. They could remove games, add games without your input whatsoever. For me, the reason why I prefer physical is because I have full, total control of what I want to do and when I want to do it. Whether it's I want to give it to GameStop, have a friend borrow the game, I could do what I want when I want. But you can't do that when you're a subscriber. You can't. You have absolutely no say in the matter. They have full control of the service. You don't, and that's why I will always prefer physical over digital. It is what it is. Look what happened with eShop is a prime example. And currently, like I said, games are being removed as we speak from Game Pass. But why in the world would I want to constantly support something like that if I have the option to buy products that are physical, tangible? Now, if you think I'm wrong for that, then I'm sorry, Jabanis, but I will never go on your side in regards of that. But anyway, here's the thing, guys. I hear what the two of you are saying, but I don't know how much relevance is game preservation is to the two of you or anyone else in the chat, but I care about game preservation a lot, which is one of the reasons why I embrace backwards compatibility. When a console allows you,
I'll get to that in a second. Go ahead.
When a console allows you to play older games and makes them accessible, here's a couple of things that happen, right? Just by that alone. One, you're able to play games that you missed. For example, like me, I didn't buy a PS4. But because I had the PS5 and it was backwards compatible, I was able to play Street Fighter 4. I'm Street Fighter 5. I was able to play Street Fighter 5. You could play Resident Evil 2 or Resident Evil 3, the remakes, despite the fact I didn't have the previous console. But when a console is backwards compatible, it gives you a chance to play games that you have missed. That's a good thing. You know what I'm saying? Which is why I would never support Nintendo or Sony or Microsoft if they make new consoles and then they're not backwards compatibility and they don't have the backwards compatibility feature. I can't support that. I can't. Another reason why this also allows you to be a collector. I mean, and Hovey knows this. Seafring. He knows that just about every single game that I buy, I keep. I keep these games, right? I don't like giving
Right.
away games. One of the biggest regret um, of me giving away a couple of games was the Wind Waker. I wish I never gave that game away back to GameStop. You know what I'm saying? So when the console allows you to play old games, it allows you to have a much bigger chance to collect as much games as you want. And and the last reason is, this one is pretty simple, that many people agree on: nostalgia. I mean, I love to have the experience of playing older games, especially if they aged well. Especially if they age well, you give me a better experience because I should be able to go back to play any old game I want. The same, and look, I understand that these are different industries, but I feel like the way how we have access to just about any music we want to listen to or any movie that we want to watch,
Not this
I feel we should have the exact same access, the ability to have the exact same access to video games. That's my opinion. If you guys disagree, that's fine. But I think it's a wonderful thing that we could listen to any music we want or watch any movie that we want. I just feel the exact same way about games. I think games should have the exact same standard as the other two industries. So
You want me to go, or you can go?
You go ahead and go first because my comment's gonna be major butthurt.
Okay. All right. So regarding the backward compatibility thing, right? Did you buy a PS3
yes.
when it first came out? No, you didn't.
No. I bought the 360 first.
Yeah, of course. Why did you buy the 360 first?
I bought the 360 first because the PS3 was too expensive.
Mm-hmm.
I was not going to spend $600 on a PS3.
Mm-hmm.
They barely had any games at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And the beginning of that generation, a lot of their game, well, at some of their games, were not online, but the 360 was.
Mm-hmm.
And what was another one? There was one more. I can't remember the last one, but I remember I had major
You gave
complaints
me enough.
about
You
the
gave me enough.
PS3.
You gave me enough.
Are those good reasons?
All the perfect reasons.
Oh, okay.
Perfect reason. Despite the fact that you sit there and put this dribble about backwards compatibility, and the PS3 when it launched had the best form of backwards compatibility. PS1 and PS2 games, along with your PS3 games. But guess what? You didn't buy one. I didn't buy one, mainly because I didn't have the money. But you didn't buy one. I didn't buy one. Why? It was too fucking expensive. And truth be told, the 360 was a more viable console to buy. Why? Because it was offering new stuff, new innovations. Didn't have to get saddled with bragging about backwards compatibility like the Xbox One did. Right? When the Xbox One, they were talking, oh, backward compatibility, yet they're releasing dog shit like Sea of Thieves and Crackdown 3. Right? Like this is what I'm talking about.
But I thought Crackdown 3 wasn't that a newer game though?
It's a
At
new
the
game.
time?
It's a new game that was dog shit.
Yeah. So I wouldn't, that doesn't count as backwards compatible though.
No. They were bragging about backward compatibility, being like, "Oh, you can play all your Xbox 360 games and all the other shit," while they're distracted from the fact that the new games were garbage.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? Like again, and we had this discussion about the differences between the music and video game industry. It's just not the same. It's just not the same. Right? And the way that it goes mechanically, it just would never work. But to me, you keep talking about backwards compatibility and game preservation, but yet you bought a console that really didn't do none of that. and thrived because of it. Why? Because they were offering new stuff. They were going forward. If you wanted to play the Xbox games, you could have bought an Xbox easy. You could have bought an Xbox and bought and played those games. Right? You could have bought a PS3 for 600, but you didn't. Why? Because it didn't offer anything that was as good as the 360. At the end of the day, these companies need to make new shit. They shouldn't be relying on the past to be good. They need to continuously innovate and move forward. They can look in the past for either to release old, like, to remake older games. I don't have a problem with that at all. But if you're going strictly the nostalgia route, just to hide the dog shit that you're making today, I'm sorry, dude. I don't get down like that. I don't get down like that. So
You know, people care about nostalgia even now. Come on, man.
that's fine. But don't let it be. Don't let it. But if your new stuff is dog shit, then I'm not going to accept that.
That's fair. That's fair. Now, you're saying all of these things.
Mhm.
You're making it seems like as if I'm saying that that backwards compatibility should be the primary.
No, it shouldn't be the primary.
No, but it seems like that's what you're insinuating, that I'm trying to say that it should be the primary reason why we should have when you make a new console, that should be the primary. No, of course the newer games should prioritize over game preservation, or backwards compatibility, I should say. Of course. But if you want to include that as a package deal, hey, that should entice people even more to buy your console.
Uh, I'm good. I'm good. Like I said, it's nice that the PS5 has it, but if it didn't have it, I have enough games on my PS5 to be happy with it. So
Okay.
Joe says streaming service reserves the right to take anything off, so it's not when they want is take it off on a whim. Oh, let me reread that. Streaming service reserves the right to take anything off, so it's not when they want to take it off on a whim.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's basically
I'm
saying
kind
like
of
they have the
confused when
right
we.
to remove stuff whenever they want, whether you want it or not. Which he does have a point, but you only ever see that in services like Netflix and Hulu. When it comes to gaming, it only, and the only time a game has ever really pulled is when there's some sort of legal controversy around it, especially on streaming services like
Give me one
Steam.
moment. Hold on. Go ahead, continue.
Like
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Steam is great. I have Steam. I've been a Steam account holder for years, decades even. And all the first games that I had on my Steam account, I still have access to them. All of them. And then some. So it's like I wish they could mimic that on consoles, but it'd be
Mimic
impossible.
what? But mimic
Like
what?
like the Steam model on PC and mimic it. Like have access to your digital library always, forever and always. Because like I said, I have games on my Steam account that were around when Steam first launched, but I could still download them and play them today at my leisure.
Right.
And they have no inclination to remove it because the games, and it's not like they're making money on these games, not even a little bit. In fact, hosting the content might actually be hurting them, but that's why they're constantly giving you access to new content, new games for you to play. If anything, the ultimate console for game preservation and backwards compatibility is the PC. It solves every problem. It just
Yeah,
does.
Yeah, and based on what Joe said on his thing, but but yeah, you're pretty much proving my point. Yes, they have all the say and full control of what goes in and what goes out, which is why if I bought these games physical of the physical, I don't have to deal with that. So somebody who is a subscriber to these digital services, yes, that's nice that you could pretty much try whatever game that you want. But if they decide to remove a game that you want to play and you no longer have access to it, either you're going to miss out or you're going to have to spend extra money on that game anyway if you
And I'm
want to continue playing it. Go ahead.
and I will tell you that that is singularly a console issue, because on the PC that is a non-issue. Not a single game that I've ever purchased or downloaded or in any capacity has been pulled. None of them. In fact, they're constantly adding new titles and older games. Like there's been plenty of times where I go to my Steam library or to the Steam store, and they're always adding new stuff, new up-to-date games, indie titles, but they're also adding in stuff that's older, like older titles that are getting re-released. Bam, they're on there. Like the Resident Evil titles. Like I have access to a bunch of them.
Right.
And at any point in time, I can download and play them at my leisure. The ones for the GameCube, like the Resident Evil remake, which was so well received, I have that on my Steam library, and I can download it right now as we speak
The
and be
old,
able to play it.
the original or the remake?
No, the remake that came out on the GameCube,
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
as well as Resident Evil Zero, which I thoroughly enjoyed as well, also came out on GameCube. I can download both of those games right now on my computer and play them without issue. How old are those games?
You're old.
They're old as
Yeah,
dirt,
they're pretty old. Yeah.
but I have
They're
access to it
adults.
now.
Those games are young
2023,
adults.
May 4th, 2023, I can download the Resident Evil remake that came out on the GameCube and play
Right.
it right now. Nobody can stop me. Steam's not going to stop me. They have no reason to. There's no reason why they would pull that title. Even if I'm the only person on earth that's currently playing it, it's still going to be available to me, whether I'm here at home or I decide to move to another country and build a PC over there or buy a PC over there and install it. I can install Steam, log into my account, and have full access to my entire game library everywhere I go.
Yeah.
You cannot
Um,
say that with any console. You cannot say that with any streaming service, whether it's music or movies. You cannot.
yeah, and this is the
Only
reason
with
why
PC can you do that.
this is the reason why I pulled this screen real quick. And Hoovy shared it. Shout out to you, Hoovy. I didn't know that you did that so quickly.
Mhm.
Can you look at this BS? Look at this dog water. And I appreciate everything that you had said, Seafring. You see, this is the type of stuff that I do not want to deal with as a subscriber. I don't. I don't want to deal with this nonsense. Look at all the games. Okay, let me read this first because I want to make sure I'm interpreting this thing correctly. So January 2022 saw some interesting additions to Xbox Game Pass like Mass Effect Legendary Edition, but it did lose some great releases like the 2019 entry of Square Enix popular long series Kingdom Hearts 3 and the fantastical PC adventure Ghost of a Tale. Here are all the games that left in January in a month. These are all the games that they decided to take out. You think as a subscriber who's paying you every month, you think that I will be happy that you're constantly removing games despite the fact that I'm a subscriber to you? This is
I am.
once again. This is once again. I'm trying to let Jabonis know why I will always be in favor of physical over digital. Because I wouldn't have to deal with this if I buy these games digitally. I mean, physically. I don't have to deal with that. I don't. Let me see if there's anything else. Oh, okay. Look, there's more. Other heavy hitters left Xbox Game Pass February 2022. Look at all these games. We're not talking about one or two games. We're not talking about 3 or 4 or 5 games. These are a lot of games where they will have all the right to remove a game whenever they want, when they want. And I have no say, despite the fact that I'm paying you every month. You think I want to deal with that? No, I don't. I don't. And Hoovy, you could say, well, I'm being a crybaby, all that you like. You
I
can
do
say that
see a
all.
pacifier. I do see a pacifier.
You could say I'm being a crybaby, all that you want.
Mm-hmm.
But these are facts here. You cannot sit here and tell me, oh, these are just a handful of games. These are a lot of games.
Mm-hmm.
A lot.
They add games and they remove games.
And for me, this is the reason why I will always appreciate, and I am worried. I'm gonna lie. I do fret as the generation goes on, because there's constantly these analysts are predicting that we're no longer going to have physical games anymore. Everything will be 100% digital eventually. I mean, maybe that's inevitable, and I'm worried about that. But already, this is the standard of games are just constantly going to be removed.
Again, that is entirely a console issue. If you look at it, that list is only as it pertains to Xbox.
Xbox Game Pass, correct?
Exactly. This is this is entirely dependent on them being able to host the content indefinitely, because you have to keep in mind their model is they have a physical console that not only plays physical games but also has a digital library. On PC, however, because everything is mostly digital, very little physical games are still played. Most things are digital. The likelihood of this issue becoming a problem on PC is near zero. And best part is joining Steam is free. So you're not paying a monthly subscription to have access to your library. You don't pay a monthly subscription to have access to their store. You just buy your game and then it's forever attached to your account to have access to whenever you want. So what you're talking about, this fear that you have is only a console issue, and it's not just Xbox. This is PlayStation and
Yeah.
And Nintendo as well. This is not to dog on one or the other. This is an issue across all three major consoles: Xbox, PlayStation, and whatever the new Nintendo console is. Now is the Switch. Whatever it is in the future is going to be the same thing again and again and again, because you're dealing with a physical console that has to do double duty: physical games and digital content. When on PC, you're dealing with mostly, or in this case, almost entirely digital content. They're able to dedicate time, effort, and resources to giving you access to all of your digital content 24/7 till the end of time, really. There's no limitation on when you have access to your games. A perfect example, one of the games that you listed on the list here back in January that fell off the Xbox Game Pass was Kingdom Hearts 3. I do not own Kingdom Hearts 3 on the PC. But if I was to buy it right now, then I can play it right now. But
That's awesome.
On the Xbox Game Pass. And I would always have access to Kingdom Hearts 3, even if I was to beat it, delete it, not play it for 20 years, and then come back and I would still have access to download it and play it.
And that's how it should be.
But that's the thing, that it exists now, but this game preservation, this ability to play your games regardless of how old they are or how new they are and everything in between, exists on PC. The issues you're having are a console issue. which are rectified 100% here on PC. If you were to make that switch, and it wouldn't even need to be a 100% switch, because like I said, I own a Nintendo Switch and I play it regularly. But I play everything else on my PC because I know it's always there available for me anytime I want, whether I have a physical copy or not, because I paid for it already. I have the digital version and it's there to the end of time.
Right.
So you guys are not in where I am right now when it comes to game preservation. I'm already ahead of that curve. I have access to everything I could ever want to play and then some because it's on PC. Once you guys are able to make that hop over, you'll see what the way it should be done. The way you would want it to be done, Steve, is you want to have access to your games whenever you want, regardless if it's an older title or something that literally just came out and everything in between.
Correct.
If you make the jump to PC, you'll get exactly what you want. Exactly what you're asking for right now, you'll have it.
Yeah.
All of these games on that list, you'll have access to it. Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance, I can get on PC.
Can you
all of those
PS?
games. Yep. Every single one of those titles
on
available.
And on. It goes on and on.
It is. Because
it goes on.
They are limited on what they can host on their servers.
Let me address.
And the thing is, see, like after that amazing speech that you just gave, your amazing monologue, yeah, you know, applaud you, sir. Applaud you, sir. You are certainly convincing me to hop over to PC, so I don't have to deal with stuff like this.
Yeah, you would not deal with it. It would become a non-issue for you, for Hoovy, for anybody, any game, anytime, anywhere. Now, the only problem is that you would need a PC powerful enough. But nowadays, you can get a semi-decent PC that can run every single one of these games at 60 frames per second or better for the price of what would have been a brand new PlayStation 3 back when it first came out, or less. Or you can get a decent enough laptop that can do the same deal. So, and a PC, you would have to upgrade it once every maybe 5-10 years to keep up.
Right.
Which is it's actually less often than we get new consoles. Think about it.
Okay. Let me address the Game Pass thing with Steve real quick, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, yeah, they do cycle in and out games, right? Because I think the main thing is 200 some odd games on there. Now, if you download the game, you keep it forever as long as you have Game Pass. Even if it goes off the service, as long as you download it, as long as you claim it for download, then you can keep those games whenever. As long as you have Game Pass.
Yeah, now, as long as you have Game Pass, that's the thing.
But here's the thing.
So you just got to maintain your subscription.
Yeah. The thing is that the drawing power behind Game Pass is is all their first party titles available their game day one. That's the draw. Right? Now, obviously, when you make garbage like Redfall, it does put a dent into that. But that's their main draw. That really is their main draw. That's why they want to buy Activision Blizzard, even though that kind of they put the kibosh on that. That's the reason why they buy. That's why they bought Bethesda. That's why they're going to buy. That's why I think they're still going to buy major third-party AAA studios, is because they want to put enough content in Game Pass so that people will subscribe to it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why. But when it comes to all those games being gone, it's just a matter of signing deals with these third-party companies that have games on Game Pass for a certain amount of time. Once that time's up, it goes out of the service. Same thing really happened with Netflix or Peacock or whatever. It always does. The main reason why I actually started watching the Sonic movies when I did, because I think I watched it on Paramount Plus, Well, because they said that the movie was gonna go away after a certain amount of time. Now, ironically enough, the fucking movie's still there, but whatever. It is what it is. Like I still watch it. I enjoyed it. So yeah. So it's a streaming service type thing. Joe says, when did I say physical is bad? I just like something digital when I buy my comics. Digital, I own them. Games, if you buy them, they're yours. Only the free ones are in danger.
Um,
Even
if
those
if
are
I
in danger.
if I said that you said that physical, is bad. I mean, I don't recall saying that, but if I said that, that's my bad on my part. But but for me, whether if it's movies, comic books, to me it doesn't matter. Whether if I buy a comic, I will always buy the physical. I will always buy the physical over the digital.
And
You know what I'm saying?
I think he buys all his comic book digital. Uh,
No,
uh,
no, 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 no. He still buys the physical because remember, I still see him at the comic book store.
Oh yeah,
And
you're right. You're right.
now I will say this: it's not a huge pile, of comics. It's just a select few. And if he prefers to have some digital comic books, I mean that's fine. Like I don't have a problem with that. Just for me, I just have a much better experience of, like, for example, I have Grimm, and if I'm just opening it, right, and I'm reading the page, I'm seeing the picture, everything's all close up, like I just have a much better experience flipping through pages than just looking over a phone. That's just for me. Like everybody have different experiences. If he enjoys doing it over the phone or tablet, yeah, that's fine. But I will always prefer to just have it right here on hand, flipping the pages. I just prefer it that way. The same way with movies, and the same way with video games. Music is a I mean, is a different thing. But as far as everything else, all physical, all the way, 100%.
Okay, so anything else to say about this before we move on?
Um, the okay, one last thing. You mentioned about how you think it's impossible when you make the comparison with the movies and games and music. I mean, to me, I think there's already is a solution for that. I mean, if you can't find a true solution as far as preserving your games, just put them all in the cloud. You know what I'm saying? Like just put all of your games in the cloud. And if I remember correctly, you don't need a PlayStation console to have PS Plus. Am I right?
Nope.
Yeah, you do.
No, because you can go online to their website and sign up for an account without a console.
Exactly.
Yeah, but you can't. Well, what's the use of it if you don't have a PlayStation?
They're working on that, if you can believe it. There was a code found in the PC release of Marvel Spider-Man that it's alluding to Sony creating their own PC marketplace for all of their games. So in the future, you will no longer need a PlayStation to play PlayStation games.
And I like
Hence
how
why
exactly
PC all day long.
that's why that was funny when you did that. I was trying to hold my composure, but that was funny how you did that. That's an easy solution. You
The
have
solution
all
is here, though. The solution already exists. The solution is the PC platform, which is where all these games get developed on originally first anyway.
Right.
Then they get ported over to be made on the
Guys,
console.
here's the problem. Here's the problem. You're talking about preserving games where you're just talking about Sony games, and when it comes to Nintendo, you're talking about just Nintendo games. With Xbox, you're just talking about Microsoft games.
I'm talking about all games.
Okay, but there's a company behind that. There are a company behind some of these games, and some of these games are just lost in history because whoever made it don't exist anymore, or whoever owns the property, we don't know. What they're doing. You know what I'm saying?
That has happened. Yes.
When it comes to movies aren't the same way. Movies aren't the same way.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are, because there's been plenty of movies, not new movies, but There's been movies in the past that people have seen, or at least were alive to see it when it first came out, that are lost to history. Original copies do not exist, therefore they cannot be carried over to the modern age. So the same thing happens with movies, happens with music. You're gonna tell me there's not an artist out there who made some tracks and all of a sudden their server crash and all that music is gone?
I
You're gonna
mean,
tell me that there aren't movies
that
right
may
now?
that may be the case, but
I will tell you
here's
I'm going to tell you a story right now about a movie, Toy Story 2. You guys have seen Toy Story 2, right?
I love it. I love that movie. Yeah.
Okay, Toy Story 2 is a great movie. It's a shining gem from Pixar. That movie almost was a complete disaster. And the reason being is because the movie, when they work on it, the shared art assets exist on a server at the studio. And each person that works on it, whenever they update something, it automatically syncs to the server. So the most up-to-date version of that art file is on the server for everyone to access. Near the production, the movie I think was like 97% complete. That server crashed and the movie was lost. And the only reason that movie exists is because an employee, one of the artists, had taken a full copy of all the assets home because she just had a baby so that she could work from home. She single-handedly saved Toy Story 2 because she had a copy of that content. So we almost did not have Toy Story 2 because of that. So you're going to tell me that doesn't happen with other movies, music, or even games?
But here's the thing. I can play my movies on anything. If I have a DVD, I don't need a special DVD player to play all my DVDs. I don't need a special VCS to play the VCR to play all my VCR movies. When it comes to these games, you need a specific console to play these games. Okay, and then you look.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you do.
No, you don't.
No.
Okay, all right. So
when they first existed, yes, you could not play an NES cartridge on anything but an NES. Same with every cartridge-based console, disc-based console as well. You can't put a PlayStation 5 disc in an Xbox Series. The shit just won't run. But you know which console is capable of playing all of those games and then some? PC.
There you go.
Okay. So
and here's the kicker. There's hardware that you can purchase online that allows you to play the actual cartridges on your PC.
Okay, and how many people? And all right, then
that's only for people who want to preserve their physical library.
And which means that which proves that your statement is a bunch of little crap.
No,
you don't have to have.
No, it's not a load of crap. It's not a load of crap because look at what you have to go through to do that.
But that's only for physical copies. You want to do all digital only and still preserve games like that? You don't even need the hardware. You just need an active internet connection and certain access to places that you can't mention on here.
Okay, and look what you have to go through all that. Do you have to go through that when it comes to a movie? No. Do you have to go through that to get your music? No.
If the movie's no longer available, yes, you would have to put on an eye patch and a hook on your wrist and do things around.
Yeah, like
to gain access to the movie.
Go to Pirate Bay and download the movie.
Well, not Pirate Bay because that place is kind of shut down now. But you would still have that opportunity. The access is there, even if no one else is carrying it. Like, let's say a movie from 20 years ago. You're like, damn, I really want to see that movie, but you never bought the DVD, you never got the Blu-ray if it had a Blu-ray edition, and Netflix doesn't have it, Hulu doesn't have it. What's your option then? You just don't watch it? No, you go looking for it and you find it on wherever you can, and you get it and you watch it.
Okay.
That's that preservation exists not because of the studio, but because of the community. The community created that preservation. So exactly what we're talking about is not something that the studios are doing. It's not the artists doing it. It's not the gaming companies doing it. We do that. You, me, Steve, the community itself is what creates the game preservation, even in the face of legal ramifications from said studios and artists and whatever. Because at the end of the day, all it takes is one person to say, hey, I want to play that game, or I want to replay that game, or rewatch that movie, or rehear that song, or reread that book. Someone out there has it. They have a digital version of it, and you just got to go, hey, quick knock on their digital door. Hey, do you think you can spot me real quick? And then that's it. You now have it to enjoy whenever you want. So game preservation is only going to exist as long as the community continues to fight for it, whether it's
I agree with that.
A crazy old title or something brand spanking new.
I agree with that, but I don't think that you can do it as easy. I don't think it's as accessible as doing it when it comes to movies and music. I just, because even if you emulate a game properly, even if you emulate the game, it doesn't mean you emulate the game properly. Trust me, I played some emulated games where it wasn't done properly.
Sometimes it's better.
It could be better, but it also could be worse. It also could be worse.
A perfect example was my stream from last night. Steve was there, and he saw me playing The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. That game is 30 flipping years old.
Yes.
But not only was I playing it in high definition at over 60 frames a second, but I was playing it with extra features that the original version did not have, and I actually showcased to them, but only because the community wanted to preserve the game. Nintendo didn't want to do that.
Yeah,
we did that. The community did that.
Yeah,
correct.
Okay, so emulation is never going to be 100% perfect, but damn it, it's going to be close enough where you're going to be like, well, damn, you know, because I was playing the game, like I even showed them, I was playing it on a PlayStation 5 controller.
Yes.
Like I was using a keyboard and mouse. I wasn't using an official Nintendo controller. I'm playing a 30-year-old Super Nintendo game on a computer with a PlayStation 5 controller.
Yeah,
you cannot do that on any console. You can only do that on a PC.
Right.
And the preservation exists there.
Right. And the PC is accessible to anyone to use, Uvi. You could buy a PC anywhere.
Exactly.
You can buy PC anywhere. But you need to know what the hell you're doing with that PC, obviously.
But there is a bit of a learning curve, but when it comes to playing games, that learning curve is very short. And this is coming, and this is me telling you, a guy who has been PC gaming for a very long time. I'm telling you, if you get a PC, you can have access to such a huge library of games in just a couple of clicks. A couple signups here and there, the same way you would sign up for Xbox Game Pass or PlayStation Plus. You would create a Steam account. Bam, you now have a game library open to you with so many games. It's mind-boggling. Then you include all the other game services like Epic, Blizzard, EA, and now the amount of games you have access to is now multiplied. And again, creating accounts for all of these services is 100% free. There is no monthly subscription. There is no out-of-pocket cost to just have access to this stuff. Once you buy the game, it's permanently and forever attached to your account, regardless of the company you bought the game. Excuse me, the game you bought from. Like, let's say you bought a game off of the EA launcher. Like, let's say you decided to buy The Sims 4 for whatever reason, right? Once you buy The Sims 4, that is your copy of Sims 4 forever. They're never going to take it down. They have no inclination to take it down. In fact, I have The Sims 2 on my EA account, and I can download it and play it right now. The same with The Sims 3. Both games they no longer support. You can no longer find physical copies of, but you know what you can find? Digital. And it's available right there at your fingertips.
Okay. So
you want game preservation, you want to have access to your games, you like all the problems, like all these issues that you guys are having with
not you guys,
the games.
One guy.
Well, it's not just like one guy, because you have some caveats too. They're not as big as his, but you know, you have your reservations as well. Well, all those reservations are solved right here on the computer. That learning curve, I promise you, once you start diving into it, you're only going to want to dive deeper into it, and your knowledge will increase. Your ability to have access to content will increase, and then you'll get to a point where you'll be like, damn, maybe I don't need to buy that next PlayStation, that next Xbox. And once Nintendo launches their own like online thing on PC, which is inevitable, you'll no longer need to buy a Nintendo console.
You think they'll do it?
Absolutely. Because the trend is, look at Xbox. Xbox is made by Microsoft. Windows is made by Microsoft. So the jump from a game running on Xbox to jumping on PC is a very short distance. PlayStation to PC is a little bit longer, but we're already seeing that change. Marvel Spider-Man, God of War are already available on Steam. So for Nintendo to make that jump, it's not a huge leap if their competition is doing the same thing. There will come a time where Nintendo's gonna, they're gonna bite the bullet. And I guarantee you, they'll be the last ones to do it. They won't be the first, and they won't even be the second. They will be the last ones to do it.
I mean, they're already the last ones to do it.
Yeah, they're the last ones to do everything, but that's because they're usually the holdout. But they are the ones that will finally say at the very end, once everyone else has done it, they'll say, hey, we have our own online service for PC. You can access all your digital content there. Go nuts.
All right. So what we disagree on is basically how easy it is compared to other, pretty much compared to other entities in entertainment, basically.
To a degree, yes.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, we disagree on that, but like I said, the solution is just put it on cloud, and once you put it on cloud, you just try to.
Okay. Now I remember. Yeah, I don't agree with that at all. I don't want to play my game via the cloud. I'd much rather just lose access to that game forever than play it on the cloud.
Are you serious?
Absolutely.
How does that make any sense?
No, because it's not the same. It's not the same. If you have no latency to the game, the game's useless in my opinion. I need to play that game natively. And if I can't play it natively, I F it. That's why I didn't give a shit about what's it called? The PlayStation Now. That's why I didn't give a shit about PlayStation Now. Because when it came to the PS3 games, yeah, they had like a shit ton of games on the PS3 library that you can play via the cloud. And why the hell would I do that? And I'm like, these are games that run on sub 30 frames a second. And then you add the cloud to that? I'm good, bro.
Look, I understand where you're coming from, and yes, I do agree that cloud-based gaming, like they tried to do with the Resident Evil titles on the Switch, that's a huge no-go. Like I was immediately turned off by that. That idea, I don't think would ever work. However, the digital library type cloud, like how the Steam has it, how the EA Games launcher and
would be better.
Battle.net,
that's better.
That's 1,000 times better, because at the end of the day, what you're downloading to your computer is the actual full game. You're installing it from their servers. Now, the game is always on the server for you to access whenever the hell you want, whether it's 2 a.m. in the morning on a Wednesday morning, or it can be 12 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday. That game is always going to be accessible to you to download whenever you want. Once the game is downloaded and installed, you're good.
Yeah, but even that comes with its own complications. Because I mean, look at PlayStation, for example. I mean, we don't have it when it comes to whenever they did any type of backwards compatibility stuff via the cloud or like you said, digital store. Not one Gran Turismo game there. Why? Licensing. I mean, the reason why we haven't seen Jet Moto via like with the same thing, licensing.
You're right, but that falls onto the part of these individual companies trying to gain access to that. But again, these are things that are only a matter of time. And because right now, like in the case of like those PlayStation properties, once Sony launches their own like online service for the PC, you'll get all of that because I'm almost 100% sure that they'll do what Steam is doing because right now they're the top dogs. What they're going to do is they're going to come in, they're going to launch their app, whatever the hell they're going to call it. You'll sign in with your already existing PlayStation account. You'll see all the titles you've already purchased there for you to download and play. But then you'll have access to their version of the digital eShop or whatever the hell they're going to call that as well. And you're going to see all the games that you're going to want to play right there. Even ones that you never played before, they're going to be available there. And it's only going to increase. And as long as they follow that Steam model, those games are always going to be available. And they're not going to pull like what's going on with, with the Game Pass, where titles are leaving every month and being replaced with other ones. You won't have that issue once these things start to fall into place.
I don't know, man. If it's something that they could have done, I feel like they would have done that a long time ago.
The thing is, like a long time ago, there was a point where PC gaming was kind of like a niche market. Mm-hmm. There wasn't enough users. What really ramped it up, if you can honestly believe it, was COVID. People staying at home. They were forced to jump on PCs. They were forced to jump on their computers for work or school purposes because they weren't allowed to leave the damn house. So that ramp up was very quick. So now you have more PC gamers because they were at home, and damn, if I'm sitting in front of a computer, I might as well be able to play on this damn thing. And people started to get into Steam. They started getting into these other launchers and getting into it. And now, post-COVID, you now have a huge market of PC gamers where new hardware is constantly coming out. New stuff is being compatible with it. I mean, like there was a time a PlayStation controller working on the PC never would have happened in a million years. But this now works natively with the PC. Xbox controller, same thing. You get a wireless Xbox Series controller. It works seamlessly with a PC. Now, even the Nintendo Pro controllers work seamlessly on the PC.
Yeah, I have one that does that.
There's been a ramp up of PC gaming in recent times that now it becomes a more viable platform. We're starting to see that transition already. A lot of games that exist on the Xbox that have ever come out on any Xbox console are available on PC, either through Steam or through some other game store. PlayStation is now finally making that transition, and like I said, Nintendo's going to be the holdout. But once they make that transition, home consoles will go the way of the dinosaurs, and will just be computers.
I believe it.
You can either dive in now and start learning, which it's very easy. It just takes a little bit of essentially just reading and understanding little concepts here and there. But yeah, it is entirely possible for both of you to not only jump on PC gaming, quickly learn how to gain access to your game libraries and expand your game library, but be able to sit down comfortably and use the PC not only for web browsing, email, podcasting, or for anything else, but also use it as a dedicated game console.
I already got my Steam library already ready, so I'm good.
There you go. So all you need is the hardware, and once you have that, you're good.
The hardware and my boy Rudolphi. That's all I need.
Well, that's a great thing about the PC gaming community is because the computers are on 24/7, the access is there 24/7.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like this was definitely a fantastic conversation. We had, and like I said, look, I'm all for game preservation. I love it. I loved the fact that I have access to whatever game I want to play. And like I said, as far as Sony is concerned, I think just put it on the cloud, make sure it works on the server, make sure that it renders everything onto the cloud, and then you should be fine. You should be perfectly fine, and then anyone you could have access to it the same way how you have access to your movies and your music. Same thing, and the same thing also goes for Nintendo and Microsoft. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. I know we spend a lot of time, but hey, I really appreciate you guys' feedback on it.
All right.
But if you have any last words, Hubi, then that's cool.
No, I'm good. I'm good. Let's get started on this Mario movie spoiler.
Yes. Let's go.
Yeah.
And one last thing. I'm just curious. So, Huvi, you are you or not in favor of game preservation? Yes or no? That's all you have to say.
I am.
Oh, you are.
Yeah,
You just don't care for it.
but not from Nintendo, Sony, or Microsoft. Because I don't believe they're gonna get it right.
Nope.
They're not gonna get it right. So yes, I agree with Seafree. It should be the community that does it, right? And yeah, when it comes to Sony and Nintendo, because okay, let me give you an example. The PlayStation Classic. Why did I buy it? So I can hack it. I didn't buy it because of what they offered. What they offered was dog shit. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to do what you couldn't do. I'm going to add my own fucking games on there. It's that simple, man.
If you guys only knew what I knew when it came to that.
Oh, I mean, if you don't mind sharing, maybe now or a little later, I would greatly appreciate it, man.
We can talk about it after this. After the podcast is done, and maybe we will talk about it another time.
Yeah. Okay. And also, Seafring, I forgot that because we couldn't meet as far as the Mario movie. Remember, I was supposed to let you borrow the last Ronin comic.
Yeah.
So so whenever we get a chance to link up, I'll let you borrow. I'll let you borrow it. And one last thing I want to say: shout out this this comic right here is fantastic. 8 Billion Genies. So pretty much every single person in the whole world has one wish, and it just made the whole world into complete chaos.
I'm sure it would
with people's wishes. So I love that comic. It is fantastic. So I don't want to go off topic, but the fact that I could rely on other comic book companies, with the exception of the big two, it keeps I guess it keeps gives me hope that the industry will continue to go forward instead of backwards, despite the fact that it's gone woke. But that's another topic for another day. Let's get on with this movie.
All right, Mario movie.
Anyways, let's start from the beginning. Right. So, and if I forget anything, let me know. Right.
Right.
Now, you I a friend of mine helped me watch the movie. That's all I'm gonna say. How was your experience at C3?
I went by myself. Not for nothing, it was a mostly empty movie theater. I would say it was maybe less than 15 people total when I went to go see the Mario movie. But I definitely had a good time. It was nice seeing the character on screen without a controller in my hand. It was nice seeing an original story, or at least the story portrayed differently. The animation was amazing. I got to tell you, spot on. Music was fantastic. You heard, some music that you would recognize from an artist song, but you also heard original remixes of established Mario music throughout the film, which was great to hear. Although I will say that yes, this is the Mario movie. Both Bowser and Donkey Kong stole the show. They were the best characters with the best lines. It was great to hear Charles Martinet, that is the original voice actor for Mario.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
in, yeah, he was in
In
the
fact, he's
original
still in the
scene.
movie. And for those of you that don't know, he actually played two different characters in the movie.
Yes. Yes, he did.
First, and right at the beginning, when Mario and Luigi were in that restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
that old man that was standing next to the arcade machine, that was him.
Yeah.
And then Mario and Luigi's father was also voiced by Charles Martinet.
Yep. Yep. You
He
got it.
played two different characters in the same movie. It was great to hear his voice. Shout out to Charles Martinet, because if you didn't know, for those of you that have played the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, he actually voices one of the dragons, and he definitely does not sound like Mario then. So he does a fantastic job
So
in voice acting.
so the old guy in the original, like the Mario, right? The original voice actor for Mario, right?
Yes.
Was he wearing the original Jumpman suit?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
him. That was him.
He was.
He was wearing the original Jumpman outfit, and that was Charles Martinet. Right at the beginning of the film, he has like not even two lines. He says a couple like quick little like Mario like lines, and then he does the voice for their father in the film. He did a fantastic job. Everybody did a great job. I was very, I know we spoke about this before. I was very apprehensive about Chris Pratt voicing Mario. I preferred his voice in their commercial than him in the rest of the film.
I wanted to address that. That was the first thing I thought was interesting because they did the voice work in the commercial.
Yes, where he actually tried to sound like Mario. Yes.
Yeah, and I maintain that the Mario voice in the games is very annoying to me. But
Okay.
it is weird that they went with that voice in the commercial
Mm-hmm.
as a justification for not doing the voice. Like, I don't understand why they went with the voices in the commercial, but not do it full bore in the movie
For the rest of the film. Yeah, no, I completely understand that the fact that voice, if the entire movie was done in that voice, especially if it was done by Charles Martinet, would be kind of annoying. For like little phrases here and there, it's great. For the noises, the punch, the kicks, the jumps, those noises, perfect. But for extended dialogue, yeah, it would get old real quick.
Mm-hmm.
That whole thing with the transition with the voice from the commercial to the rest of the film, like, not for nothing, whenever Mario talked after that commercial, like his regular speaking voice for the rest of the film, I can only picture Emmett from the Lego movie.
Yeah.
I couldn't hear anybody else.
Which was played by Chris Pratt, right?
Was also played by Chris Pratt, exactly. Like, that's literally him talking into a microphone like that, like me right now. If you were to be standing next to me and I was not on a microphone, I would sound exactly the same as this. Like, it was just his speaking voice. He wasn't trying to be a character, which is why I was like, he did not do it in the Lego movie, nor did he do it this time. And that was kind of like my whole thing, like, hence the reason why Bowser and Donkey Kong did much better job, mostly because they also had better lines. But dude, it's Jack Black, and that already is top tier for me. But then you also have what's his name? Seth Rogen. You have Seth Rogen doing Donkey Kong, which was just a match made in heaven. Like, I don't think anybody else could have done a Donkey Kong voice and been as successful as he did.
Okay.
Princess Peach, great choice. She did sound with a hint of royalty when she needed to, but you could definitely hear it in her voice that if she needed to, she could scrap.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she did.
All right. So going back to the commercial, right? The reason why it was weird to me is because they're like, it is realistically, if you're watching that commercial, right? Let's say you're watching the commercial, you hear the voices, but then when you call them, they speak in their normal voice. It is the whole dichotomy that seems weird to me. Well, okay, so
no, that makes perfect sense what you're saying. Yeah, if I heard someone speak a particular way as a form of advertisement, and then I spoke to them in person and they did not sound like that, it would be more of a turnoff than anything else. Like, damn, do I really want to do business with somebody like this when this isn't who they actually are? Yeah,
Yeah, it
it's
was
weird.
weird, but I did like the commercial. So
Yes.
they're home. You see the family. I thought that was a
Mhm.
nice touch. The first time seeing.
I thought it was brilliant when they did that. I
Same.
thought it was brilliant when you heard Charles in the commercial, because at least now you got to, even though it was just a little tiny eensy beatsy thing, you still got to experience him being in the movie as the original Mario voice actor in that commercial. So I thought it was brilliant. I loved it when I heard his voice. I'm
Well,
surprised that people didn't like that, but I loved it.
Yeah,
that wasn't him in the commercial though. That was Chris Pratt doing the Mario voice in the commercial. After the commercial airs and they're celebrating that the commercial aired on TV, the guy that was standing next to
yeah.
them, that was Charles Martinet.
Yeah, yeah.
He did not do the voice in the commercial.
Now, okay.
That was
So
not.
they,
That was Chris Pratt doing his version of the Mario voice.
all right. So they did.
Oh,
So
okay.
okay.
He did sound different though. He didn't sound the exactly the same. Did you think he sounded the same in the commercial?
His interpretation of the Mario voice, like the very, like the very enthusiastic and high inflected voice, that was Chris Pratt doing it in the actual commercial. After the commercial plays and he's talking with his regular voice to Luigi, the old man that talks to them and says that the commercial was great, that was Charles Martinet.
Yeah. Okay.
So he was not in the commercial. That was Chris Pratt 100%. The old man that spoke to them afterwards, that was Charles Martinet.
Okay. My first favorite part of the movie is the encounter with the dog. That shit was hilarious.
That
That
damn
shit,
dog.
and it really is because of the dog. Like
No, the dog's facial reactions
Yeah.
and how determined it was great.
that was funny. I thought that was funny.
That was absolutely hilarious. Now,
I loved the part that amazes me was when Mario himself. I forgot exactly which portion it was, but this was very at the beginning of the movie where he
When
was
they were
sitting down when he was playing on the Nintendo.
yeah,
Oh,
he was playing on an NES.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Now,
That was fantastic.
speaking of that scene, I don't know if you guys noticed, but like obviously it was more like a kid's room than anything else. He had like posters and shit all over the place, and he was playing the NES. But if you looked on top of the NES, he had a figure model that was not Mario related in any way, shape, or form. It was actually an R-Wing from Star Fox.
Oh yeah.
Yes, it was. I noticed it. I was the only person in the movie theater to go R-Wing. Like I had people looking at me like I was nuts, and I'm like, dude, that was an R-Wing from Star Fox.
Wow.
That tells me that they're willing to put in Easter eggs from other game franchises in their main boys movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Like-
I figured you would see that.
That was chef's kiss. Like I was beautiful. Like I
Right.
saw that. Like and you watch the TV, and he's sitting there playing, and right on top was the R-Wing on like a little, kind of like I have this guy set up. It was like on a little pole, and right at the top was the R-Wing.
Okay.
And I was just like, that was
Okay,
great.
so all right, so after the encounter with the dog or whatever,
Mhm.
did anything significant happen before they went to the Oh yeah, okay. So what happened was they responded to the emergency in Brooklyn, right? Downtown Brooklyn, someplace like that.
Yeah, the flooding in the city that was
Yeah.
coming out of the pipe.
they did
They
that.
showed
Remember
they showed the
before that,
city plumber, and he couldn't do it.
but before that, he had a call. His first call after the commercial was over, he
Yeah,
went to a service call. That was before though.
yeah.
But that
We're
first
talking
call
about
was to the apartment where
Where
they
he
had the
called.
issie with the dog.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
That was their first call. He's talking about right after they handled that issue, which they really didn't. They practically threw the dog out the window.
I was enjoying the part. I was enjoying the fact that he was tearing the whole freaking bathroom apart when they.
Oh my God.
That was got me
It was
laughing.
such a nice looking bathroom too, and it got
Yeah.
completely destroyed.
Oh my gosh, it was bad.
I just can't. I just can't get over the dog's reaction when Luigi breaks the bone. His reaction, that dog's
eyes
reaction
just-
made me just
That was the
made me
best.
laugh out loud. And that was the thing with the movie that stuck to me because It was a lot. The funniest part about the movie, outside the Bowser stuff, was the subtle stuff that happened in the movie, like the subtle stuff, like the part where Mario gets tackled by the toads, right?
Yes.
So, and Princess tells him, get him off, and then one of the toads just hits him right in the stomach just for good, hits him right in the stomach for good measure. All
just,
right.
just to get that last shot in. Yep.
Yeah, and then this part made me laugh out loud, right? When during the wedding, right? The Bowser Peach wedding, right?
Oh, like this, like at the end.
There's a coin that falls down.
Oh yeah, one Koopa, he's like reaching for it, and it doesn't even show him like pick it up. That was hilarious.
Yeah, that shit made me laugh out loud. That shit made me laugh out loud. But,
my thing was Donkey Kong, the constant shit talking to Mario during their fight, after the fight, even all the way to the end of the film. Donkey Kong could not stop hating on Mario. It was the funniest fucking thing. He kept shit talking this man all the way to the end. It was way too funny. Way too funny.
Okay, all right. So going back, so they had the trail. They had they had to go to Brooklyn to take care of the flooding.
Mm-hmm.
Then they get transported into the Mushroom Kingdom, whatever. Like,
well, no,
Luigi goes to the Dark World.
First, you have to point out how they got there. What happened is that you had the city plumber say, "Oh, he fixed it," and all of a sudden it only got worse. Mm-hmm. Mario shows up and he's like, "Oh, those guys don't know," but the problem actually starts over here. And he reaches down, he pulls the manhole, and you can see he's down the street from where the mayor and the other people and the news crew is.
Yes.
And they go down there, and they get sucked down, and that's how they end up. They end up underneath the city. And when he found the valve that he needed to turn. When he reached for it, it broke, and they both fell. That's how they ended up in the deepest, darkest parts of the sewer system in New York, and that's where you see the green pipe. Yeah. Luigi was the first one to go in. He got sucked in without knowing.
First,
yeah, exactly. He gets pulled in first, and then Mario, looking for him, sees, I think, was it his flashlight? Oh no, it was a wrench. The wrench in the green pipe, and when he went in to reach for it, that's when the magic of the pipe happened and yanked his ass through. Mm-hmm. And then that's when you see the whole thing where they're in the pipes and they're swirling around through the place. Luigi ends up going to the Dark World while Mario ends up in the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah,
and that's when
I love the touch. It's a nod to obviously Luigi's Mansion.
Oh, absolutely.
I just love how whenever, especially in the beginning, when Mario and Luigi, I love the relationship with Mario and Luigi.
Oh, it's great.
I loved it, which is why I was bummed out that he was the one that got kidnapped instead of Peach. I actually would have loved it if they kept the the traditional story of Peach being kidnapped, because I just love the relationship that Mario and Luigi had, and I also love the fact how whenever they were exploring together, how the camera view had shifted to the 2D platform, mm-hmm. where they were I don't know, like that just brought so much joy, on the inside when I would see it transition, like as if we were literally just watching them play. Well, it's like we are playing the Mario in the 2D platform by watching it. It was just amazing.
It is easily the strongest relationship that they established in the movie.
More than
Mario and Luigi,
which is why I didn't like that they had to split, because there wasn't really any other relationship that you really cared for. Mario and Luigi were the only two who were together. They were brothers. They dug it out. They have a business together. You didn't get that same type of
relation. That's the thing. But that's exactly the reason why it needed to be Luigi that needed to be rescued. Because if it wasn't Luigi, Mario had no motivation to save the princess, save the Mushroom Kingdom, or even fight Bowser to begin with. He was not in it to save the Mushroom Kingdom. He wasn't in it to save Princess Peach. He didn't know these fucking people. He didn't know the Toads. He didn't know anybody there. He was in a strange land, and the only person he knew was Luigi, and Luigi was missing. So he did everything he could to save his brother. It just so happened that in order to save his brother, he had to save the princess and save the Mushroom Kingdom. But if it wasn't for that, he would have no reason to do
I,
anything. He'd
I
be like,
agree.
"Fuck, just get me home. I don't care."
I agree with Seyfried there. I think the way that the story was designed, it had to have been Luigi that got kidnapped.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Because of their strong relationship.
yeah,
That was Mario's sole motivating factor for going through everything he did. The constant failures on the training course, that was his motivation. I'm doing it for Luigi.
yeah.
Um, the fight with Donkey Kong, him raising his hand and going, "No, I'll fight him. I will fight." That was his whole motivation. Was I'm doing this for Luigi. I'm doing this for my brother.
Yeah.
That was his motivation. If it was for the princess, it would be like, dude, I just met this chick like yesterday. Like
I was
she's
actually
nothing to me.
going to ask. I was actually going to ask that question. How do you feel about the princesses and her role in the movie? Now, I thought the way they did it was good. The only thing I didn't like was the explanation of how she got there to the Mushroom Kingdom. Oh,
Yeah, I think they could have done a better job with her
Yeah.
origin story.
Yeah, she reached into she went to the Mushroom Kingdom. A bunch of toads raised her, and now she's princess of the Mushroom Kingdom. Nah, that's kind of like
Really.
that's pretty lazy.
Like really?
Yeah,
No, it really is. Because at the end of the day, like there was nothing showing her to be any kind of royalty other than the fact that she was human and everyone else was a damn toad.
yeah,
That was it. That was the only factor that motivated the toads to put her in on some sort of pedestal, was the fact that she was different from them. She was human versus being just a regular ass toad person. You know what I mean? So I completely agree with you there. Her origin story, her origin to be there in the Mushroom Kingdom, it could have used more work. But other than that, I think her character overall was well done, well voiced, well acted. I mean, she definitely had her own motivations for doing what she did. I mean, think about it. If it wasn't for Mario, who the hell would have fought Donkey Kong? Her?
yeah.
You know what I mean?
What's your thoughts about it? Because you obviously you mentioned. Did you have a problem with her not being the quote damsel in distress?
I to me it made it feel like Peach was a completely different person, from the actual game. I think that the way how she is in the movie, I think they made her a little too strong, to the point where it made it seem, for me, in my opinion, that Mario was really not needed, to save the kingdom. It seemed like she was able to handle, Bowser on her own, with her plan and with the ice flower. She seems to be like she could pretty much, take care of herself, which completely is different from how it is in the game. So I kind of wish that they, was hoping that they tone it down, just a little bit, to where it made it seem like there was motivation for Mario to, help her out, or whatnot. But all that completely went away because she was pretty much physically could do anything herself without his help, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I would
complain about
agree
that.
to a degree. Because ultimately, like I said, like, yeah, she's a different character versus, say, every other version we've ever seen her in. She's definitely more of a take charge type person. I mean, think about it. When they needed to go to the Jungle Kingdom, it wasn't her chief advisor that went. She's like, no, I'm gonna go. I have to do this. Where a normal monarch would have been like, send a messenger. That's it. So would she have been the one to fight Donkey Kong if need be? I don't think they would have made her or put her in that situation, even though she probably still would have been like, yeah, I'll fight Donkey Kong. And she probably would win too, but we'll never know. At the end of the day, the way it played out in a fashion that made Mario relevant, while at the same time having everybody involved with their own motivations for being there. Mario being trying to rescue Luigi, Princess trying to save her kingdom, which for some reason she's the leader of. And not for nothing, but if you're the only monarch and the leader of a country, you're not a princess, you're a queen. I don't know whose job that was, but she's definitely not a princess. You're a
You know,
princess
but
if your mom's the queen.
you know how that is.
Yeah, that's
You know what happened. If they call her a queen instead of a princess, they're gonna be like, "Oh, it's not part of the source material. You're trying to make her look strong and all that other shit."
exactly.
And, you know
So
how it is. So,
yeah, they need to fix that.
that part I didn't. The only thing I had a problem with Peach was her origin story. Everything else was actually pretty. I actually didn't mind her at all. Now when Mario goes to the Mushroom Kingdom, he meets Toad. How do we feel about Toad?
I don't think he had enough screen time. You yes, he was exploring with Mario for a little bit, but I was kind of hoping that the journey that Mario had with Luigi was probably would have been the same with Mario and Toad, but it just ended like quickly, like just like that. Especially when they were on their way to meet up with Peach. I didn't feel like they didn't have enough time to develop a good relationship with Mario and Toad to where it really made it seem like Toad was the most irrelevant character in the whole movie.
I can agree to that because like Toad only hung out with Mario for the initial trip to the castle
Yeah,
uh, together. From then on forward, it was Mario, Toad, and the princess, or Mario, Toad, and someone else. So it was never just the two of them alone again from then on forward. Um, and yeah, although, and then even then, like he gets to the castle, he's like, "Oh yeah, he's my best friend." Like, first of all, you just met the dude like 5 minutes ago. You helped him to the castle, and he's your best friend.
well, that's what he said too. Yeah,
What
He
kind of
was like,
sad ass life are you living that this dude you just met is your best friend because you hung out for like 10 minutes? You
and
know
then
what I mean?
there were times where I completely forgot about him. Throughout
Yeah,
the course of the movie, I completely forgot about Toad. So
yeah.
that's the only issue that I had.
There were times where I like not only forgot he was there, but like even when he was on screen, I was not worried for him. Like I wasn't
Correct.
worried like what's going to happen to Toad. I was more like,
Exactly.
what's
But
happening
yeah,
to
one
Mario?
moment.
What's
Yeah, one
happening?
moment when the wizard dude had him in freeze state and was about to crush him until Prince had decided to marry Bowser.
Yeah,
That really don't tell you he was in danger. I didn't think much of Toad in the movie, to be honest with you. He did have one cool part where Mario asked if this a dream, and then he whacked him, and
that
then
was funny.
did you feel that? Like, yeah, but I didn't think he had much of a presence in the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, like
and
his
and
role
I,
was very like toned down for the film.
and I think they tried. I think they tried, especially the moment when they were on the Rainbow Road and then he had that huge monster truck.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That
That was
that
pretty funny.
that stood out, and I said, okay, that's pretty awesome. But I wish we had more moments like that with Toad, but
Yeah,
we just didn't get enough.
And
By the way,
what makes him special than the other
every other
thousand?
Toad,
Yeah,
essentially nothing. He just happened to be the one that was there when Mario showed up.
yeah,
That was it. Like if it wasn't for that, he'd be just like every other Toad.
yeah,
yeah.
So
yeah.
Okay, so
yeah,
and then so okay, so how do we? Okay, so you said that Bowser's your favorite character in the movie, right?
absolutely.
No, let's talk about Bowser because I thought he had of all the main characters, I thought he had the best. I thought he had the best lines.
Oh, between him and Donkey Kong, the two of them had the best lines, but from different points of view. Like Bowser had the best villain lines from his point of view. Like some of the stuff he said was so out of pocket for anybody else, but for Bowser, you're like, yeah, that would make a lot of sense. Donkey Kong's, on the other hand, was great for him, but it was coming from his character's motivation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And his comments and his lines were also out of pocket, but you look at Donkey Kong and the way he was in the movie, you're like, yeah, anybody else saying that stuff would be kind of weird, but because he said it, it makes sense. So yeah, I would definitely say that Bowser had some great lines. He had some great scenes as well. Starting from the very beginning of the movie, like he had some of the best scenes in the movie. He was in them.
Yeah, obviously the Peaches song.
Oh,
Which is
great!
amazing. But my favorite part of that is actually what happened after when he gets interrupted.
Oh
And
my god!
he gets interrupted, and then he's like, "Oh, pretty much being jealous of Mario," and the
Exactly.
dialogue
Oh,
that happened there.
play this song with me, and he closes the thing on a guy's
Yeah.
fingers.
Oh yeah.
And the guy's like, "Sir, can I open the thing?" He's like, "No."
Oh yeah, when he told him no that he could. Yeah, I remember that.
He told him he
That
couldn't
was
get his
funny.
fingers out. It was so funny. I was just like, "Wow, that is so in character for Bowser. That
Yeah,
is so in character for
it's
him."
like it is pretty much him taking. All right, good. Let's go. Yeah, I'm watching the fans again. I apologize. But what he did, he perfectly fused his personality with Bowser's.
Yes, he did.
You know, and I thought that was excellent. I thought Pratt was fine as Mario. Like I know some people are not as friendly about his
Mhm.
role. I thought he was fine, but I thought Jack Black played Bowser to it perfectly.
Perfect casting.
Yeah,
Perfect.
with the
Yeah.
voice and with his own mannerism, because we all know
Jack Black doesn't miss.
Yeah, we all know he likes to do music and stuff like that. And
Oh,
And the, re-
ha-
and the
have you guys ever heard Jack Black like sing?
yeah, Tenacious
The
D.
man has a set of pipes on him that'll ruin any other artist right now. Like he can sing.
Yeah,
Like, he has serious vocal talent. It's ridiculous.
yeah, I'm a fan of Tenacious D. So Steve,
Oh,
what did you
the,
say?
Even
the
beyond that,
Yeah.
even beyond Tenacious D,
Okay.
he has some serious musical talent.
and what I always appreciate, the reason why I appreciate the music of Bowser singing wasn't not just because it was entertaining and it was good, but when you look at any movie and when you have this like crazy, bad villain who whether he wants to destroy the world or whatever his motivation is, you never really got to see these villains in their private time or them
Mhm.
being emotional about a particular character.
Yes,
You got to see that from Bowser. And I
yes, you
really
did.
appreciate that they went to that route to where he actually had a soft spot. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
absolutely.
You don't really get that from villains, whether if it's in the game, movie, or comics. You don't really get that from like the main villain. You just really get his crazy demeanor and his attitude. You never get the soft spot though. You never get that. But
You never do.
with Bowser, you got it, and they did it flawlessly. It
We
was
got it in full display, and I loved every second of it. Like
yes,
it was great to see him. Like even in his most intense moments, he still said things that left you like, "Wait, that's why he's doing this." Like, like in the throne room, he had his entire army in front of him. He's giving this huge speech. And he's like, "And Mary Peach," and everyone was like, "What?" Like it was like a record skip skirt. Like, wait, what? And they didn't question him because they knew what would happen. But just that whole, the music stopped, everybody stopped moving. It was so funny. But I'm like, that's his motivation. He doesn't want to destroy the Mushroom Kingdom. He wants to rule it with Peach next to him.
and also, I don't know if you guys ever felt this way, but although that you predominantly would see Bowser as the main villain and most of all the Mario games,
Mm-hmm.
you didn't really have that true connection with him in any Mario game, at least for me. In this movie, although he was the bad guy, I don't know, I cared about the character. Like I
Well,
cared.
that's why
Mm-hmm.
you can't just make a Mario movie and just stick to the source material 100% of the time.
Yes.
That's why you have to. That's why you have to be creative when it comes
Mhm.
to how you cast the characters and how you do it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And again, they did a fantastic job showing us a side of Bowser that we never really seen before.
Right.
And but also giving some solid credence to his motivations for what he does, why he's doing it. Like, if it's one thing, like, okay, he's just a typical maniac, he just wants to destroy the world. Well, What about afterwards? No, this guy had an actual plan. I'm going to rule the Mushroom Kingdom, but I'm going to do it by marrying Peach, who I am completely infatuated with, to the
Yeah.
point where he wrote a fucking song about her. Which, if you guys didn't see, someone did a Twitter poll comparing Peaches, the song, to the song Let It Go, and asked which one's the better song, and everyone picked Peaches.
Wow.
Even though Let It Go is an Oscar-winning song that is actually played on the radio.
Now
All right.
that's
So
That was too funny.
that's impactful, and you know that how he's a strong dude. Like
Yes.
I love how they made this dude. Yo, you cannot stop me. Like you're gonna
He
have
was
to use
very
some type of
imposing,
yes.
powerful. Yes, agreed.
And when you see him on screen, especially like in the very beginning of the movie, like
Mhm.
with the music or the score, that they call it,
Everything.
and him blowing that flamethrower from his mouth.
Mhm.
Wow, this dude is strong. You don't mess with this guy. I
Yeah,
love
like at
that
that point, you're
you
like,
had to
why should
respect,
have an army?
right. It showed that you had to show this dude so much respect, and yeah, he will put fear in your eyes. I like
Mhm.
that. I like that.
For sure.
all right. So okay. So he meets Toad. Mario meets Toad. They meet the princess. We go through all that. Then they
Mhm.
do the training montage. How we like the training montage?
I the problem with the training, I see why some people was complaining about it. Like they thought that they wanted it to be a real life life or death scenario, but
I'll be right
because it
back.
was just all right, no problem. But because it was pretty much just a training course, it was a huge letdown to a lot of people. When I was like listening to reviews, a
Mhm.
lot of people really complained about the fact that it was just an obstacle course, not
That's what Mario Brothers is.
but yeah, but he didn't really face any type of danger because
Yeah,
all he was just doing is just training. That's all he was doing.
yeah. I didn't have a problem with it.
So you
But
liked it.
yeah, I thought it was fine. I thought it was fine. It is pretty much seeing all the baddies that you're used to from the old school Mario games, and like the plant, like I liked it. I liked it. And then obviously the part where it looked like he's about to be done, and then I think what happened is the plant got him and threw him to the water.
Hmm.
I thought that was funny. I thought that was funny. But okay, so he goes to the training, and then after that is when they go see the Donkey Kong in the Donkey Kong Kingdom.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to wait till Siegfried gets back. But yeah, up to that point, middle that I would say that was like the middle of the movie. Like how are you liking the movie?
Yeah. Uh, I was pretty much enjoying the movie, from beginning to end, and
Mhm.
even during that portion, I was enjoying it. The only thing is, I thought that they could have done a little bit more of making the characters more relevant, I should say. And I was hoping for more adventure in the movie. I mean, just the platforming.
Yeah.
As far as the platforming, yes,
I
we got some of it on the training. We got some of it in the beginning of the movie when
Yeah.
him
Oh, Siegfried,
and Luigi.
what were your thoughts on the montage, on the training montage?
Yeah, thanks for interrupting.
Oh, my bad. If I don't ask you, I'm gonna forget.
That's all right. I thought it was cool,
Hmm.
but at the same time, I'm like it didn't feel like a real training montage more than anything else.
That's what I
Like
was just saying.
yeah, like a real training montage would show, like actual like skill growth. Like normally when you see like a training montage, it's usually like a martial arts film or something like that. You see somebody learning techniques using proper movements, and then later on you would actually see those movements properly used. In this particular training montage, all he did was jump around and dodge a bunch of mechanical stuff, but then at the end of like when he really needed to do a fight, he was getting his ass handed to him the whole time, even though everything else was kind of pretty much the same. It was jumping platforms, and dodging punches. It was only after he turned into a cat and got cat-like reflexes that he was actually to put the hurt on Donkey Kong. But even then, after that, I felt like Mario's training didn't actually do anything to further his skills, as you see later in the film.
Mhm.
In fact, most of the stuff that he learned, he had to learn on the spot.
Yeah.
So, could we have done without the training montage and still had the same result? Yes. Was it a
I
nice
think it was done for
addition to
comedy.
see the platforming thing and the fucking flag? Yes, it was neat to see that, but at the same time, it wasn't necessary.
Yeah, I think they did it for comedy. But go ahead, Steve. I apologize, bro.
Yeah.
I just needed to ask them because we're gonna move forward into it.
No, I actually forgot what I was gonna. I actually forgot now.
What were you guys talking about?
No, we're pretty much talking about them going to see the Kong Kingdom.
Oh yeah, so I felt like the obstacle course. I was hoping that because it was just an obstacle course, there was really no life or death, scenario, like as if you were like it is in the video game. I was hoping that throughout somewhere in the movie, if you want to have an obstacle course, okay, fine. But I was hoping that somewhere along the movie where it's actually real, now this is like life and death situation, you pretty much, didn't get that. Like there was really no potential danger that Mario was facing as he exploring, trying to find Luigi, his brother. So I thought at that moment they missed the mark on that.
Okay, all right. So they travel to the Kong Kingdom and they get introduced to. I don't think the Kong has a name. Like I said, I haven't played no Donkey Kong game past.
That was Cranky Kong.
Cranky Kong. No. I'm not talking about the. I'm not talking about the old.
He's talking about the guy with the blazer with the suit.
Oh no, he I think that was a play on I think Donkey Kong's brother or cousin or something like that from the original Donkey Kong games. Oh my god, he's the guy at the save points. I forgot what his name was.
Yeah, the one with the glasses, right? With the shades. With the glasses.
Yeah, I think it was like a play on that character.
Yeah, you're right. I'm just now remembering.
Yeah, I think it was a play on that character.
You have a visual real quick, or you don't?
Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, if you can find it while we kind of
we were pretty much introduced to we were pretty much introduced to the kart portion of the Mario universe. So, they do the racing.
Dude, and sorry, I have to say that dude was awesome with the deep voice and with the blazer looking all fly and everything like that. I thought it was just amazing how I actually wanted to see more of him. But once he took off, with the cart, and
never saw him again.
You never saw him back again. I'm like, oh, that's a bum. I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah. It was bound to happen. He was like one of those characters, like a one-off, shows up, says his piece, does what he needs to do, moves the story along per se, and then he's gone like the wind.
Yeah, with that deep voice, man. That was awesome, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, I thought that whole sequence with the Kong Valley was pretty neat. I think it would have been nice to kind of like explore it a little bit more, like the Kong society and how they have the whole kingdom set up. Because like immediately they get there, the king's like, I'm not gonna give you shit unless you fight fight our champion. And Mario's like, okay, and they immediately go into the fight, and then they immediately go into the cart section. So there was never any real time to kind of see the Kong society outside of that initial transition from when they first get there at the gates to the very fly dude in the jacket taking them to the king's palace. That's all you saw of the Kong society was that trip, nothing else.
Yeah.
So it was nice that they added Diddy Kong. That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
And right next to him was Dixie Kong, so it was nice to see her as well.
Very short, very very short.
It was short. I think he said like one line that was like way over the top. It was pretty funny, but still, like it was nice to see the character there. So that shows okay, they're not just using this movie as a vehicle to propel Mario forward, but get everyone to recognize, hey, Bowser, Donkey Kong, and Diddy Kong and Dixie Kong. You got Cranky, and you have, you know, all these characters, especially ones from their own games, showing up in this movie. And you're like, hey, I know who that is, or I know who that is. So they're using this movie as kind of like a vehicle to push everyone up so that they can, probably have their own film, like maybe a Donkey Kong film in the future where, like Diddy Kong plays a more active role, or something like that. You know what I mean? So the fact that they made Donkey Kong a character and threw in Diddy Kong shows hope for a Donkey Kong something later on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all right. So after
did you
that,
guys like the voice actor of Cranky Kong?
yeah, him was fine.
Yeah.
He was fine. He was fine. I had no problem.
He was 100% fine. Like he sounded like Cranky Kong would sound.
I don't know. I thought that they could have done it maybe a little bit better, with his voice since he's old and if he's going to be cranky, like I want to see him cranky in a
He
bad
was
mood.
cranky. That was one angry ass dude.
mean,
Like the
he was
entire
cranky.
time.
He was cranky.
I didn't get it. I didn't get that. I don't know. I didn't get that.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with that. Now, obviously, Mario told the fight that he's gonna fight, the champion Kong, which is Donkey Kong. And I ain't gonna lie, I had a huge smile on my face when the Donkey Kong song came on.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, that was great.
I ain't gonna lie, that and the pet flexing, I was all for it. But
That was absolutely hilarious.
I have to say, I wasn't the biggest fan of Donkey Kong in this. I wasn't.
Oh, here you go. We need
Now,
you.
and here's the thing. When it comes to Nintendo characters, Kirby, obviously everyone knows that I love Kirby, but I would probably say second is Donkey Kong. So I'm a big fan of Donkey Kong. So, and I like Seth Rogen as the character. Me personally, I don't think he had enough. I don't feel like Donkey Kong had enough impact in the movie. I don't think he did. I felt like his rivalry with Mario was forced. I didn't think I didn't think he had I didn't think he had the impact in the movie that I wish he had.
I can kind of see where you're coming from a little bit, but I still like he definitely could have had a bigger impact in the film.
Mm-hmm.
But that forced rivalry, that I don't agree with, because at the end of the day, Mario was doing something because he had to do it. Donkey Kong was in the fight because he wanted to do it. Afterwards, when he got his ass handed to him, that's when the rivalry started. But that rivalry was one way. Like, it wasn't forced on anyone. That was basically Donkey Kong being a dick the rest of the film and talking shit to Mario because he lost the fight, when the entire time Mario's like, aren't we on the same side now? Like, what's up with you? Like,
didn't Donkey Kong won the first round?
Well, it wasn't really a round. It was more like the first initial kind of scrap, and he basically pounded Mario into the ground. But the fight technically wasn't called until after Donkey Kong got knocked out. Like I'm guessing like they were playing the fight as if, okay, last one standing is the winner. As long as the other person's still up and around, the fight's still on. And since Mario never stayed down, the fight never actually ended.
That just reminded me of that crazy moment when he wanted to use one of the power ups, and it was the blue mushroom. Dude,
yeah, I do like that part.
And everyone, like half the movie theater. This is why I just love the movie theater so much, man. Me and half of the movie theater was screaming, "No,
not
don't
that one!"
Right. It was such an amazing experience. And then seeing him being all small and tiny and how they changed the voice and everything. Oh
That
my
was so
gosh.
funny.
That was fantastic. And I love that power up too because there's in the what I think was the new Super Mario Bros. Game. I think it was because I think that one where he has the big super mushroom where he could
Yeah.
destroy everything. Yeah,
Mhm.
I love that power up for the simple fact that you could jump higher and then there's like these secret passageways that you could get through. Kind of
Mhm.
remind me of like, somewhat of the Minish Cap, Zelda, the Minish
Yeah.
Cap, and
Yeah. It's a lot
and
like that.
but how they utilize it on this movie, it was just so hysterical. I
Beautiful.
loved it. It was done beautifully well.
Yeah. So yeah. So like I said, I did like the fact that after the fight happened, and I thought the fight was fine. I didn't have a problem with the fight. Then they do the whole Mario Kart montage, which I liked.
That
They
was
used
neat.
it,
Yes.
yeah, they did use the music for they did use the music for Mario Kart 8.
Hmm.
Now, which I actually like a lot. I do like the music in that. I do like that menu music.
Yes.
A part of me wish they would have used the Super Nintendo music, but I understood why. I
That
understood.
would have been that would have flown over so many people's heads, like they would not have gotten it.
Yeah, I know, and you have to do it in a way that where the atmosphere fits, right? Like the atmosphere
Exactly.
fit the Mario Kart 8 atmosphere fit that scene, right?
Absolutely.
Now, obviously, if they did that with the Super Nintendo music, they would have had to. It probably would have been like if they're going up the elevator, if they
Hmm.
go up an elevator and then that music comes up, then that Mario music comes up. That part I think would have worked better there. But I had no problem with the music that they chose.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I enjoyed the music. I thought the music was very good.
Yeah. Very good choices all around.
yeah, so all right, so they do the Mario Kart scene and they
Build their
get
carts
build their carts, and then that's when they're in the pretty much the first encounter with Bowser, right? With Bowser and his
and his
Koopa
army.
Troopas, yeah. And I thought that was good. I thought that was cool. And then obviously my favorite part was the blue shell.
That was so funny. Oh
And
my
I
god.
think in the movie theater, people were screaming with that too. They were like, "Oh, snap the blue shell!"
Go blue shell.
Yes,
Wow.
man, bro. Like to hear everyone's reaction simultaneously and the anticipation, it's just so great. It is why the movie was just so fun to watch.
And it was
It
so
was
well
just so
received
fun. Yes, for sure.
by the viewers, not the critics.
Yeah, and I love how it just waited at the right moment where the guy gets upset, he gets out of his vehicle, and then he powers up, turns into that blue shell, freaking destroyed that the whole entire track. Nice,
Too
so
funny.
nice.
Yeah. So that I like that part, and then obviously they capture Princess and Toad and the rest of them, and Donkey Kong and Mario are now stuck inside of a massive fish.
Before we continue,
Hmm.
I know the two of you probably don't care, for this character, but I love this character, man. I gotta share. I gotta share. I got.
Which character?
Oh my gosh, I love this character to death. This guy, I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what anybody says. I love this guy. I
That
love this.
character
Oh
had some
man,
of the best single given lines I've ever
what?
heard in a movie because they were so out of pocket for the
Yes,
film in general. They just came out of nowhere. You're like, oh, it's brightly colored. It's got a smile on his face, and it's talking about doom, gloom, and death. And you're sitting there like, what the
right.
fuck?
I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie.
It, that. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I'll see
Yeah.
what I have to say after. Go ahead.
If they had held off on that until the movie, if they didn't show trailers showing that character, I actually thought it would have been funnier.
Yes, that I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah.
We got spoiled when
Yeah.
they showed this character in the trailers. Had they held off till the movie release, the impact would have been that much more.
I think you're right.
Yeah,
And when
100% agree.
bro, to see such a small and because he I think his first appearance was on Galaxy. If I'm Mario Galaxy, if I'm correct,
Super
you
Mario
can correct me
Galaxy,
if I'm
yes,
wrong.
yes,
Yes, and to see someone who, like you said, bright colored, nice blue, light bluish, sky bluish color
the
with a smiley
smiles.
face, and for him to say out of nowhere, ah, fresh meat for the grinder, like what? Dude, listen,
He was
n-
insane.
n-
Completely
n-
lost his mind already.
no lie, people in the movie theater was like, "Wait, what? Like, what's this guy saying?" Just complete, utter, violent type of language, foul language coming out of this dude's mouth, and he
So
just,
funny.
and then I think one of the birds was like, "Shut up! Like, shut up! Like, you're just talking too much. Like, you're freaking me out here." It
Exactly.
it reminds me of those movies when it comes to, like, I forgot what those movies are. Those horror movies where it involves little children and then they turn into these, I don't know, they either they turn into a zombie or a monster,
Yes.
or that's what it reminds me of. Innocent children, but then they will put fear in your eyes, acting like as if they want to kill you or that they love death. And close to the end of the movie, he this guy gets upset because remember they were all about to be melted in the lava,
Mm-hmm.
and then he gets upset when Donkey Kong pulls the chain and pretty much saved everybody's life. And he goes, boo, gets all upset over the fact that that nobody died. I'm like, this dude crazy, man. This
That
dude's
is
crazy.
too funny. Like that character alone was so well done. The lines
Oh my
delivered
gosh.
was perfect. Oh my god.
Oh man. Do
The,
you
the,
know
the only takeaway was say they should not have spoiled it during the trailer. That's the only thing I would take away is they should not have spoiled the character during the trailer. Waited till the film's release and give us this gold, this literal
yeah.
gold.
Yes. Oh man. By any chance any of you know who the voice actor on this character is? Because big shout out to him, man. Do any of you
Uh,
guys know?
No, I don't
let
know.
me see if I can find it real quick.
Okay. Oh, while you're looking for it, Hubi, you could go ahead. But man, shout out, bro. I Even though it was just for a little bit of amount of time, he left such a huge impact in that movie. And once again, the reactions from the people in the theater, because it just caught everybody off guard. Beautifully done, man. Beautifully done with the execution.
All right, so Mario and Donkey Kong get swallowed up by this massive fish. That's where they try to, I guess they tried to establish a common bond between them, which I don't think, which I in my opinion fell flat. But whatever, they get out of it, and in the meantime, the wedding going on, and there is one part that I thought was funny where Bowser comes out, and I don't know, I think he was wearing a suit, or I think he was wearing a suit or something like that. He had the
Hmm.
flower, but then he puts on the puppy dog eyes, and and he's pretending, he's doing a rehearsal with I forgot what the dude named his
Kamek.
Kamek, right? So they do that was funny. Then they do the scene where Prima Peach pretty much backstabs him, does her thing,
Hmm.
and in the meantime, Donkey Kong and Mario they're on pretty much on their way to saving the day. And I think that's where Mario got the Tanuki suit.
Yeah, the Tanuki suit.
Tanuki suit, yeah. He gets the Tanuki suit and he starts, flying and doing all this thing. And I thought that part was cool. I like that part.
Hmm.
Um so then what happened after that? Then all right, then I think Mario gets chased by the massive bullet.
The giant bullet bill.
Yeah. And then and pretty much we're heading towards the end of the movie.
Yes.
Well, I want to make sure that I'm not forgetting anything. I know he saved
I
him.
mean, we went through. We missed so many Easter eggs I thought we was going to discuss.
No,
Oh,
But
no.
that's
we
fine.
can discuss. We can discuss.
Even
What
if we were to name what we saw, we would still be missing some.
yeah,
For
Like,
sure.
we can definitely discuss that. But
there's like that would need its own video. The
yeah,
Easter eggs alone would need its own video.
but
True.
And
okay,
that would be
so
on a frame by frame basis.
yeah, so obviously he gets chased by the giant bullet, and then pretty much the impact between that and the pipe brings them back to their own world,
Yes.
and that's where the fight. That's pretty much where the fight
The final battle.
escalates. Yeah. Now here's the thing. Now this is actually the part that I had the most problem with the movie.
Hmm.
Now, Bowser has the star, right?
Right.
He had the star. Unless I'm mistaken, he can use that star.
Yes. He never did.
Yeah, and
He had the star in his possession, but never used it. And I think, like you, that was a big takeaway. Like, dude, you're about to face off against Mario. You're already kicking his ass. At no point in time did you go, well, I'm starting to lose a little bit. Let me grab this damn thing and use it. The thought never crossed his mind. And I think that was a massive L.
yeah, because he could easily got he know where the Mushroom Kingdom is,
Exactly.
so he could have
used it.
gone there even before Mario was training or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Used it, destroyed everything. He could have forced Princess to marry him or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been over with.
Yep. Would have been game, set, and match. But then we wouldn't have a film, would we?
Yeah.
Well, when you think about it, when you think about it, was there truly a reason for him to use the star, knowing that he could beat Mario to a pulp without it?
Well,
He really,
his job wasn't to beat Mario. His job was to take over the Mushroom Kingdom and marry marry Princess.
Exactly.
That was the goal.
He should have used the star from the very beginning. Like once he had it in his possession, he should have just made a V line for the Mushroom Kingdom, showed up, used the star, and basically started rampaging and basically told Peach, "I'll stop destroying your kingdom if you agree to marry me." And if Mario shows up, boop, flick, gone, done. Mario would have been in a position to even less. He would have been in less of a position to stop Bowser at the beginning of the film. But you see, that's the thing with how it usually is with these megalomaniacs and these big bad leaders is they never think to use their best weapon, their best techniques, their best everything right from the start. It's always, let me use it as a last resort. Like, why? I would have been like, carpet bomb the place, send a giant bullet bill, give me the star, and I'll ride that bullet bill like a fucking rocket straight into the Mushroom Kingdom, and basically say, I'm going to continue to do this until you agree to my demands. The movie would have been over in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But he never did that. So, again, that's a plot armor more than anything else. That's a writing thing, because, again, you would not have a Mario movie if Bowser thought like how we would think.
Yeah.
And quick question.
Mm-hmm.
So let me share this, because I have to ask you guys this question.
Right.
Regarding to the bullet bill that you mentioned, Seafring. Although this part was funny,
Yes,
extremely funny.
Those weren't real bullet bills in the training montage, which is where that picture's from.
Here's the one thing I need to actually regarding to the whole bullet thing, because to me it is. Would you say the bullet bill is pretty much similar to like I guess a nuclear bomb, or is that going too far?
The big one at the end of the movie, yeah, I would have equated it to a nuclear device. The other ones you see in the movie, I would say more along the lines of, like a regular tank shell.
Okay.
It'll do damage, splash damage to a localized area, but not enough to like level a city. The big one at the end, that's your nuclear weapon.
Yeah, this is the only one I was able to find. Here's the thing. Do you think? I hate to be this guy, but I truly want you guys' honest opinion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
If I'm at another location, another world, another town, the last thing I would want is to send this nuclear missile to my hometown.
I don't think I don't think he obviously I don't think he knew what was going to happen.
Well, you have to remember the position that Bowser was in. He was frozen from the neck down, and he was left in a position where he could not actively fight. So he basically lost his mind and said, "You know what? Fuck it, send the big one." You know what I mean? Like at that point, he was ready to just, "Hey, if I can't win, nobody's gonna win.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bomb the fuck out of everything and level the entire playing field and kill everybody in one shot." And that right there is in line with most major villains. Is when they're put when their back is up against the corner, that's when they pull out that trump card, which is usually, if I can't have it, no one will, and click the button and fucking kill everybody. You know what I mean? That's how it usually is. And in this case, no different.
So what you're saying is when Mario was I think it's right here. But I'm not gonna click on this because I don't want to get copyrighted if it plays. But so what you're saying is that Mario had no choice but to send it to his world.
No.
What he was hoping for is that it would get warped to a
disintegrate.
different world, not necessarily his world.
Well, I mean, either way, you're gonna destroy another world.
Well,
I mean,
but you see, that's the thing. I think his mind was, okay, if I send this thing through the warp pipe, it'll get sent back to like the dark world. At least that was like his hope. At least I would think so. That was his hope. Like, okay, I'm gonna send, Bowser's most powerful weapon and send it back to his home country, wherever the hell that is, without really thinking ahead. Like, okay, there were different pipes leading to different places, plus back to my world. In all reality, it could end up there, which is ultimately what happened. But I'm guessing that wasn't what he was thinking.
Yeah, I don't
think he meant to do let me just send the shit up the pipe and hope it ends up somewhere that it's not going to do any damage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he fucked up.
Then okay. I get all right. I guess I could probably let that slide then because because I was saying to myself, why would you want to send this thing in your hometown? Like, why would you do that? So, but hey, maybe you're right. Maybe he just wasn't thinking. Maybe he wasn't thinking at the time, man. Because here's what I thought what was going to happen. I thought he was just going to do the whole Superman route, take it up to the sky, up to the orbit, and just
have it blow up there. Yeah, of course. Yeah, that would have been the smart move to do. But I'm guessing Mario, because you have to mind, he was in a Tanuki suit for the first time. So outside of flying pretty quick and able to turn quicker than, say, the Bullet Bill could, he wasn't really known of the capabilities of the Tanuki suit. Like, he didn't know if he could actually fly up that high. He didn't know, do they have atmosphere? Would he be able to breathe up there? But a lot of that stuff wasn't crossing through his mind.
Plus, he has they got Galaxy. So what are you gonna try to destroy Galaxy? He got games to make. He got money to make. So why would you destroy Galaxy?
Just get into the next galaxy, blow up a Rosalina's galaxy, and just remove her from the future.
Point for me. All right, so the impact of the bullet sends everyone to Mario and Luigi's world.
Yeah, they get sucked through the pipe and back to New York City.
Now we haven't talked about this. Luigi. We haven't talked about Luigi that much in the movie.
Luigi.
Right? Yeah. Now, I thought Charles May, I think that's his name. I thought he played a good Luigi.
Yes, he did.
Yes. Luigi in the movie was portrayed as a pussy. Let's be real.
Yes, he was.
He was portrayed. I'm sorry to use the coarse language, Steve, but he was a pussy in that movie.
Yeah,
the inferior to Mario.
The inferior Mario brother.
Yeah.
But then you have to think about it. Like, if you look at him in his own games, like perfect example, Luigi's Mansion. Yes. That's his first game where he was the title character, right?
I mean, I think this Mario's mission.
And what was he doing the entire time? Scared out of his pants.
Yeah, that's true.
The entire game, he was scared out of his pants.
isn't there a game where you had to rescue Mario back in the day?
I
It's called,
Mario's missing, but
yeah,
we don't count
yeah, it's called Mario is Missing, but we don't really count that one because it's like a non-canon game
it. And it
Oh,
sucks. So
and it's
oh,
not
okay.
good. But yeah,
Oh, okay. All right.
Luigi's official real first game was Luigi's Mansion, and he spent the entire time scared out of his pants, along with the sequels.
and
So
they use that in the game in
and
the
they
movie.
used that in the movie. So I he was a pussy, but with reason, you know, like that's kind of like his character type. Now, in a sequel or future film, if we see him kind of buck up a little bit, okay, I'm not opposed to it. But him being a scared character is not really outside of, you know, like his thing. Like like his portrayal in the movie was not any different from how we have seen him already in his own games.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
but yes,
Like
and
they
even
didn't really need to push that far.
yeah, but even though he was portrayed as one in the movie, it did make pretty much the last part before they reached the star impactful with him protecting Mario so he can get it.
Exactly,
And
because instead of being the one that always needed to be saved, you know, like you saw in the flashbacks,
yeah, oh yeah, I
um,
forgot to mention the flashback when they were
when
baby.
they were babies,
Yeah,
and they use the Baby Mario and Baby
yeah,
Luigi
yeah,
versions
yeah,
from the game, so that was hilarious.
yeah,
Great
Yeah.
choice. The fact that he's always needed to be saved by his brother made that scene at the end more impactful. Like you said, that he's finally saying no. Me being rescued by Mario, that's enough. I'm going to help him this time win. And that's exactly what he did.
And the thing and the reason why I slightly disagree with you, Hoovy, is
Mhm.
because I'm looking at these pictures here. I'm trying to find the one. I'm trying to find the one
You
where
picked the wrong picture.
um
Picked the wrong picture. Disagree with me.
no. You'll understand my point. You understand my point because when he was getting chased by the bone, I forgot what they're called. The bone. I forgot what they're called.
Bone turtles. Yeah,
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 the
the
bone turtles.
bone
dry
turtles.
bones.
And yeah, and then how they resurrected, and they put themselves back together.
Mhm.
And like dude, Luigi's
Put up a
Mansion.
fight.
Yeah, and the thing is, Hoovy, Luigi's Mansion is a fantastic game. Let me be real with you.
I never
It's a,
played it, so I
it's a fantastic game. This game here, Luigi's Mansion, fantastic game. I
A
love the game.
great series.
Very different. Yeah, you played the game, right? CP?
Absolutely. No, I played all three of them. They're fantastic titles,
Yes.
great games. It's nice to see Luigi taking the reins. It's definitely a step away from a typical Mario game. So, but so well executed, so well made. Thumbs up all the way.
Yeah, and the reason why I'm bringing this up, Hoovy, is because it did create somewhat of a dynamic. Kind of reminded me of, just think of Scooby Doo, for example.
yeah.
Shaggy and Scooby was always the fraidy cats in the bunch.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Absolutely
saying?
true.
So
I'll be right
I
back.
think, so I do believe that it was necessary, or it was clever, to have at least one character who was always who's always paranoid, so to speak. So I didn't necessarily have that, and plus, because he has his own game anyway in Luigi's Mansion where he's always scared, it made sense to put that in the movie.
Yeah, of course. But like I was just kind of joking when I said what I said. But he is looked upon as the lesser Mario brother, especially in the movie.
Yeah, and I don't think you would want him to be. I can't find any more pictures, but I don't think you would want him to be the exact same character as Mario anyway.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like
That's fair. That's fair.
you know what I'm saying? Like, this is not Double Dragons here. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Oh my
So
god! Okay, have you ever watched that Double Dragon live action movie?
yes,
Oh my god!
yes,
Oh,
I've watched the Double Dragons movie, and I tried my best, to get into it. I was just so confused by it. Like, it was just, I didn't know what the heck was going on. I was just like, I don't know, man.
the best
Did you
part
like?
about The best part about that movie is Alyssa Milano. That's it.
Who?
Alyssa Milano.
Oh, are you talking about that chick that died?
No, no. I think she was in. She was in. No, she's like this actress. She's pretty hot. These back in the day, she was in that movie.
Oh, okay. No, okay, okay. But yeah, so I think overall, I didn't hate Luigi. I
No,
appreciate it.
I didn't hate him. I didn't hate him. I just thought that he was, he was kind of portrayed as a little wimp in the movie.
Well, like he was the Shaggy and Scooby, in the bunch. So I thought it was fine. I mean, um, because again, it created a nice dynamic, which is what I believe you cared about the relationship between the two, even more
Yeah,
because
that
because
was
they
the
were
part.
different.
That was the part. That was the best part about the movie was their relationship.
Yes.
I thought that was the best part of the movie was their relationship because they established it early how much they cared about each other, right? And then like then it really grew from there.
Yeah. Yeah. So I liked it, and if you ever get a chance, dude, I'm telling you, I think you will definitely like Luigi's Mansion. Maybe you probably will never play it. You may be not even interested, but
If I okay, I'll say this because like it didn't interest me at the time, but I did give Mario Sunshine a chance. So I should have given Luigi's Mansion a chance also.
did you like Sunshine?
Yeah, I like Sunshine. Like
You
it,
did.
yeah, I
Oh
did.
wow.
Look, it's not better than. I think Galaxy is a better game. I think Galaxies are a better game. I like the 2D Mario better. But I thought Sunshine was a good game.
I don't know. I didn't. I mean, like I said, the quality of it is fantastic.
Mhm.
Obviously, graphically, it was very good, but I don't know. I just didn't. I just didn't. I just didn't feel really entertained of just cleaning freaking paint or what oil, whatever that thing was.
Yeah, yeah.
It was just boring to me. Like I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
thought the whole thing was
It's a
boring.
very different. Yeah, it's a very different Mario game. So yeah.
And frankly, I don't think we're ever gonna get another Mario Sunshine.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
Yeah, it seems like Nintendo went away from that, and maybe they realized that people it just doesn't really appeal to that many people.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you right now, even if they did decide to make a Mario Sunshine, I wouldn't bother. I
I mean,
wouldn't.
they should have made a remake for it at least.
A remake?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, they did that to Wind Waker.
Yeah, Zelda Wind Waker.
Yeah.
Was it a remake? I think it was a remaster.
Yeah, we are. They should make They should make either a remake or a remaster of Mario Sunshine.
Nah, I think I'll pass. I think
Sorry
I'll
about
pass.
that.
Yes, sir.
So what I was telling Hoovy Dark was that I think you heard me say Louis. It was kind of like the Scooby and Shaggy of the bunch,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Yep.
actually like the dynamic with Mario and Luigi. They're two completely different characters. They're not characters who were exactly the same. Like Double Dragons, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually like the fact that they were two completely different personalities, and you needed somebody who was scared anyway. Like it created a different character in the movie. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it did, and Luigi was the perfect guy for it because again, with the establishment of Luigi's Mansion and his kind of like
Correct.
character archetype, he was perfect for the position that he played in the movie as the kidnapped brother that needed to be rescued, who growing up was not that he was incapable, but he did need to be rescued more often than not,
Hmm.
and that was Mario's motivation, to do what he needed to do in the movie. So it was nice to see that they have a character who is capable, but is so reserved that he just doesn't. But it was only when the shit hit the fan and his brother needed his help that he stood up. He's like, "No, enough's enough. I need to stand with my brother and help him fight." And we got the ending that we got, which was great.
Yeah,
And
and yeah, so we got the ending, the start. Oh, you can say something, Steve.
no. I was just curious. Who thinks that Nintendo needs to make a remake of Mario Sunshine? You agree? I say no.
An update, maybe, but a full remake, no,
No,
not
like a
necessary.
remaster.
A remaster, yes. A remaster of Super Mario Sunshine, I would agree. Yes. If you give me a remaster of Super Mario Sunshine, it would absolutely I would pick it up day one. But a remake, no, absolutely not. The game is flawless on its own. Could have used a graphical upgrade compared to nowadays. A little, yes, but overall, it's a great platforming game with great mechanics and a great story. Does not require a remake. Not now, not ever.
Yeah, that's I agree. I don't know about great story, but but I do agree because like I said, great quality. Because you and I had this discussion, and I had this discussion too. You know, with who when we was comparing it with with Mario and Sonic. I
Mhm.
thought the quality of the game was fantastic. But I just thought the game was just a little too boring for me, which is why I love Sonic Adventure Battle 2 when that came out. But
Mhm.
that's just my opinion. Go
All
ahead.
right.
Okay. All right. So after the scene where Luigi, pretty much protects Mario, they get the star, and they start kicking ass. Now, my favorite part of that scene with them kicking ass, well, there's two parts. One Mario tail whipping Bowser. That was funny.
Yep.
I like that.
Classic.
And two is I think it was Luigi who beat up one of the Hammer brothers.
Hmm.
I hate those fucking guys. Even to this day. Even to this day, I hate those fucking
So
guys.
you're like, fuck that guy. He got exactly what he deserved.
Exactly.
And it, dude, and the thing is with those Hammer brothers, they always put you in a position where you could barely have you could barely do anything because there's one at the top of the platform, there's one that's underneath, and they're just constantly throwing those hammers at you.
And then they
Oh
hop
my
between the
god!
platforms. So
Yes,
sometimes they're both above or they're both below and they're hopping back up and they're constantly throwing hammers at you. Yeah.
Oh, son of a
Fuck
bitch.
those guys.
Yeah.
yeah.
Fuck
I
them.
have I haven't seen them lately. Are they any of the future titles?
I
I
don't
mean
know, bro.
recent
You
titles
don't
on
want to
Yeah.
Steve
play
Free.
them? I don't know, bro. You don't want to play them. You play Mario. You can
Sometimes
play
I'm
it.
asking. That's what I'm asking.
I
I'm
haven't
asking
played
Steve
a
Free.
Mario title in a long time.
Okay, so yeah, we
Like any
let
of
me
the
just
newer
stop.
ones, I haven't played. No.
All
Okay.
right. All right. So, all right. So obviously, I think did who forced Bowser to eat the poison mushroom?
Do you know what? I forgot how he ate it.
Yeah, I forgot. I
Ooh.
forgot he ate
Yeah,
it.
you got me on that one.
But
Damn, I forgot
okay,
how
but
he ate it.
all right, so he gets put in the jar. All happy ending or whatever, whatever,
Yep.
whatever. Now, this is the part where the movie ended for me. I never got to see the end credit.
Really?
Never got.
Okay, so you honestly didn't miss too much. Okay, so the ending of the movie
Mhm.
was them celebrating and all that stuff. And did you see the part where they got to where it showed where they live now, where Mario and Luigi live now?
Yeah, I saw that part where they live
Oh,
in the
okay, so
they
they
live in
live in the
the
Mushroom Kingdom.
yeah.
Okay, so after the credits pass, at the very end, they have a scene which the moment I saw it immediately made me think of a completely different movie. But you see the scene from New York and kind of like the masses and stuff. Then the camera kind of shoots down into the sewers, down past pipes, all this other stuff, reaches like this really lower level. You see a single Yoshi egg. The camera kind of zooms in on it, a
Yes.
crack, and then you hear Yoshi, and then it ends. So you don't even actually see Yoshi,
Okay.
right? That end credit scene reminded me of Godzilla 2000. If you can remember that movie.
Oh, that movie's not good.
Yeah, that movie was terrible.
Yeah.
But the ending scene of that movie was a shot very similar to that one of the camera going down into the deep dark into where the Godzilla had made its nest, and supposedly they had destroyed all the eggs. Well, the camera going down, and it showed one single egg still intact. It cracks open, and then the screen goes black. So that reminded me exactly of Godzilla 2000, seeing that end credit scene from the Mario movie. It was almost a one-to-one funny thing is, both movies take.
Oh yeah, you cut off
So,
there a little bit, but
Yeah,
you said
you cut off a little bit.
yeah, but you said both
oh,
movies take place in New
sorry. So
York.
yeah,
And so yeah, okay, I get it, I get it.
yeah. So I thought that was pretty funny that both movies take place in New York, and they had like that kind of like similar ending where they show the potential for a sequel.
Yeah,
Although Godzilla 2000 never got a sequel, we're
we'll see a
definitely getting a
sequel.
Mario sequel. Oh,
So
absolutely.
The question that I have for you guys: did you guys like the fact how Bowser was beating Mario to a bloody pulp? But pretty much it looks like he hurt his arm, and then Mario sees the commercial with him and his brother. I thought that was a special moment right there.
yeah,
But
Oh
did you
yeah,
guys were you guys completely fine that Mario couldn't even compete?
yeah, I'm
yes,
fine with that.
I
Yeah,
was perfectly fine because you have to remember, this is not the Super Mario, not the one that we know from the games, who is super powered. He has all this skill. He's been doing this shit for years. This is a guy who just the other day found out about all of this. You know what I mean? So he's still new. So him fighting Bowser and getting his ass handed to him almost consistently, well, pretty much consistently, almost the entire fight was pretty much on par with an established fighter going up against someone who's never thrown a punch in their life. And
Okay, so
even
what you
then, Mario had fought Donkey Kong, but Donkey Kong wasn't Bowser. Bowser is 3 times the size of Donkey Kong and can breathe fire. So yeah, like you're basically like, it's like a David versus Goliath type of situation. Except David didn't have a slingshot until he got the star at the end. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah, I think you're going to have somebody going crazy now. You just use the Bible reference and
no, I don't care. It's fine. It's fine.
Man. but
It's a
I
story we
still
all know.
pretty much what you're saying is that Mario just didn't have enough experience points.
Yeah, exactly. Like he was not an experienced fighter at that point, and the person he was going up against was literally the leader of an entire country who has his own army, and he is the most powerful warrior in his own army.
Yeah.
So yeah, if I was to face off against somebody like that, yeah, I'd get my ass handed to me.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's pretty cool. But I really did enjoy it when he was getting whooped though. I'm like, wow, man, this dude
Oh no, he
doesn't
was getting
stand
slammed.
a chance. And then but you see, Donkey Kong at least got a couple of hits in.
Mhm.
I don't know if you remember Donkey Kong. At least Donkey Kong was able to do some type of damage, at least something.
But again, Donkey Kong was a trained fighter at that point. He already had years of experience in the ring because of his position in the
Correct.
Kong Jungle Society. As not only was he the son of the king, but he's also their top fighter, their best guy. So him being able to land a couple good hits on Bowser makes sense.
Mhm.
Mario, on the other hand, again, would be like a first round amateur up against a title winning fighter.
And then we saw that what happened. He got the star. Luigi got the star, and once that happened, it was game over.
It was a wrap.
Yeah, it was completely game over. And I did like the ending. Well, I should say the ending of the fight where I think they were in the air, and Bowser tried his one last chance using his flamethrower.
Mhm.
Didn't work. Got his butt knocked out. Perfect. That was a
That was
great
it.
great ending. Great ending. But I knew the star was very strong, but I thought it was only temporary. Is it not?
It was
It's
temporary.
supposed to be. It is temporary, but not for nothing. It did last longer than it
It
normally
did
would in the
last a
games.
long time. Let's be
Yeah, like in the games, the star only lasts like what, 10 seconds, not even.
right. Yeah.
Just enough to get some enemies off the screen or blow through a big enemy or whatever like that. But
Yeah.
this movie, it felt like it lasted a lot longer.
And that was
But it
I
could just be like a perceived time thing with the film.
Yeah,
do,
I mean,
do
it's a
you
little
do
bit.
you did you guys remember the scene on Dragon Ball Z where Gotenks fused and he was fighting Majin Buu, and then they just suddenly uh went back to two
Yeah.
people?
Mhm.
I thought something like that was going to happen.
Yeah,
And
they
then,
were just going to turn back to normal in the middle of the
yes,
battle.
and then I'm like, oh snap.
Like, what do we do now?
Yeah,
Star's gone.
That's what I thought. What was going to happen, but it didn't happen. But that's
No.
just me. Thinking too far ahead. But
All right.
it was still a good fight.
What would you guys score the movie overall?
You first.
I will give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Okay.
I thought it was very good. There are some stuff that I didn't like about it, but yeah, it was very minor. But overall, I thought it was a good movie. Now, I will say this: if you're not a fan of Mario, and let's say you're not familiar with the lore of Mario, and you just watch the movie,
Yeah, you're not going to enjoy it.
Yeah, I do think that people who are not fans are not going to enjoy it.
So you agree with some of the critics then?
No, I understood why I didn't like it, but I like the movie since I knew it. I like the movie, so it didn't bother me. So I give it 7.5 out of 10.
All right.
You reacted crazily for it. Why?
Because I didn't think you would give it such a low of a score.
It's not a low score. 7.5 is a great score.
That's a pretty high score, actually. That's right.
7.5. I thought you said 7. Okay.
No. He said a 7.5, which is kind of on par with most of the viewer score on Rotten Tomatoes. It was like 7.5 and up.
Yeah.
So yeah, it seems to be on par. Just like you said, if you're not a fan of video games, or at least know Mario in that sense, you're not going to like it as much as we did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
For me, when I put in the group chat that I give it a 10 out of 10. Mm-hmm. But looking back and reflecting on it and not just get all excited, emotions are down, relaxed. I'm giving it an 8.5.
8.5. Okay. I can see it.
What about you, Sifri?
Me, overall, having known the series from literally the first one all the way up to now, knowing this character inside and out and seeing him in many other things, it was refreshing to see him in a different light. There were some casting choices that could have been better, while some were dead spot on. The comedy was good. Animation was absolutely fantastic. The choice of music tracks, very, very good. Whoever was in charge of that, thumbs up. And my boy, Charles Martinet, was in the film. I thought they were just going to cut him out entirely. Thankfully, not only was he in the movie, but he had 2 separate roles. I loved it. So, but at the same time, this is Mario's first foray. So, although it is a good movie, it is not super fantastic. I would instead give it a solid 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Oh, so what were your dislikes since you gave it an 8?
Well, my takeaways would still be like, Chris Pratt again. Like, this guy, his Mario voice in that commercial was a very good attempt at the Mario voice, but his speaking voice was basically Emmett from the Lego movie. Like, it's not like he made an attempt to sound like a different character. You know what I mean? Like, he opened his mouth right after the commercial, and I didn't hear Mario anymore. I heard Emmett from the Lego movie. So that was a big takeaway. When your main character, your main voice actor, your star power behind the film, can't sound different than a character he's already played before, that kind of is a takeaway. I would say that the underuse of some of the characters, like they introduced Toad, but never made any real use out of him. But basically turned him into target practice near the end of the film.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't really do anything with that character, which they could have done more with. There were like little things here and there overall that could have given it a higher score had they made better choices. But still, overall, it was a very enjoyable film. And I would say for kids, it's fantastic. Like if you're a kid, go see the Mario movie. If you have kids, go take them to see the Mario movie. Please. They're going to enjoy it. Even if you're not, as an adult, not a fan of Mario, your kids will enjoy the movie because, again, the artwork, the animation, the sound design, the music, like everything about the movie is, again, catered to kids with those elements designed for us adults that know the character. But again, it's not enough to overcome the fact that this is, again, a Mario's first foray, not including the film way back in the day, but
Mhm.
first real foray into being a more accurate Mario movie. It still wasn't where it would be like a 9, 9.5, or even a 10 out of 10 type film. Maybe the sequel will do better now that he's established as a character, that the world is established, that the characters are established. Maybe the next one will do much better, but this one, like I said, it's good, but I wouldn't put it that higher than 8.
Okay, fair enough.
All right. Last question before we leave.
Oh, I think I know he's gonna ask.
Yes. How would you stack these up against the Sonic movies?
You
No.
you you
Yeah, I'll go first
First,
because you
you
already
pose the
pretty much
question, you
spoiled
go
it.
first.
Yeah, I was because you already spoiled my answer.
my bad, but I don't think Seafrink saw it. I don't think Seafrink saw that podcast. So go
I
ahead.
did not.
Okay. I thought the Sonic movies are better. I think the Sonic movies are better.
Okay.
I think Sonic 1 is better, and I definitely think Sonic 2 is better. And
Okay.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. When it comes to Sonic, and now mind you, I don't give a shit about Sonic.
He hates the character. But go ahead.
Okay.
I don't give a shit about Sonic, but I do respect the franchise and what it meant for gaming.
Sure.
Right, despite what Steve says. Right now, I think a random person can watch Sonic and enjoy that movie. I don't think a random person can do the same thing with the Mario movie. I think there's too many loose ends. There's not. I just don't think that there's enough to really engage into the Mario universe, unless that type of stuff you like. With Sonic, you know his origin story. They established that early. They established a relationship between him and the human. I forgot his name.
Donut Lord.
Yeah, and and I will also say that the antagonist, Jim Carrey, also very funny, very good in it. Now, I will say this: when it comes to the second movie, the character who steals the show is Knuckles.
Absolutely.
Is Knuckles, and a lot of the same reasons why I like Jack Black as Bowser is the same way that I was a big fan of Idris Elba playing Knuckles because he there are some parts of the movie where he's reading the text messages and he's
Mhm.
like and he's saying dot 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 like he's literal with everything that he says,
Yes.
and he does it with a funny cadence. I just laughed out loud, and I thought the movie in general was fantastic. So while I think and I said that I thought the Mario movie was gonna be better. And while the Mario,
He used quote unquote. I won't use it verbatim.
Mhm.
He said it was going to obliterate Sonic.
I think I said it would be better.
No,
I
you
don't know
said
if I said,
you said obliterate. Trust me.
but
You did.
but regardless, it didn't happen. So I think the Sonic movies are better. So
Okay.
I
I can
mean,
see it. I can understand it, and I think I might I think I might actually see the reason why. The Mario movie, a, almost immediately threw us into the Mario lore, and if you are somebody that does not know it, you would be lost from the get go.
mhm.
It would still be very entertaining. Like I said,
Yeah.
it would be it's still a very entertaining movie. But if you don't know the lore, there's a lot of things you would miss. The Sonic movies actually held a lot back when it came to Sonic lore and gave us just enough to know the characters and their motivations while still keeping it in line with, real world elements. of the film, and I think that's what made, at least in your mind, in your eyes, the Sonic movies were better than the Mario movie because you could enjoy it even if you didn't know anything about Sonic the
Yes.
Hedgehog. If
Yes.
even if you just knew the name, you can watch the Sonic movies, learn enough about the character, which they give you enough in the movie to know the character
Mhm.
in both films, and enjoy the movie from beginning to end. Mario, on the other hand, if you're coming in it with knowing nothing about Mario except for a name,
Mhm.
you're going to be totally lost. You'll still be entertained. And they do explain some things, but they don't explain enough about his origin for you to be like, okay, I understand this character now. You could with Sonic.
Yeah, and I think the way they handled relationships in the Sonic movie is better. To
Okay.
me, I think it's just better. So, Steve, I mean, what do you have to say?
All right, so the first movie, I think Mario is better than the first Sonic movie.
Mm-hmm.
Now the second movie, I have a really hard time with that one. I have a really difficult time. But since we're running like what 3.5 hours now, so I have to make a choice. And if I had to choose, I think, and you know what, I'm going to watch both movies again because I might change my mind.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for right now, I would go for the Sonic movie because of the simple fact that, with the exception of the humans, I cared about just about every single character in that movie, with the exception of his parents, or whatnot. I love Knuckles, like you said, Hoovy,
Mm-hmm.
186. Jim Carrey, awesome. Even though he could act a little extra goofy at times, which a lot of people, well, I shouldn't say a lot of people, but people were saying that Jim Carrey was pretty much acting like Jim Carrey, and instead of acting more like Dr. Eggman.
Yeah.
But to me, I could understand that point. But Dr. Eggman was also a goofy character too. Now, Jim Carrey probably was a little over the top with it, of being more of himself
No,
than from.
you can't have that mustache and be taken seriously. I'm sorry, you can't. You can't. But
100% agree.
I get it. I get it. I get it.
Yeah. So, but other than that, I was highly entertained. Um, I thought the movie was also very funny, and I and just and overall, let's just be. I mean, you might disagree, Seafring, but I do think Sonic is overall a much cooler character than Mario. I honestly believe that. Not
All right.
because of what's that?
No,
Oh,
you're
okay.
good.
Yeah. I do think he's a much cooler character. Than Mario. I love Mario to death, but man, it's just something about Sonic, man. He's fast. I love his attitude. His demeanor. He's also a nice guy, but he will give you an attitude, especially when it comes to the comics or the cartoon.
Hmm.
But yeah, every character in there, I love it. It was so action packed, nice, great jokes. I laughed in a lot of the movies, especially with Carrie. So I think for right now, I'm gonna watch both again. I'm going to watch both of them again and make my official final verdict. But for now, I have to say Sonic. And um, from what I've gathered, Seaframe, a lot
Hmm.
of people who do not play either Sonic or Mario seems to tend to go to the Sonic route instead of the Mario route. Because I think, because with Sonic it gave you somewhat of a backstory, it made the characters relevant.
Hmm.
And like, even my sister said it. She said the reason why she loved the Sonic movie, although she prefers Mario as a character, as far as what game she would prefer to play a Mario game, but she loved the Sonic movie because she felt that it was more relatable, somewhat, where she kind of got lost and didn't know what meant what as she was watching, the Mario movie. So as far as that goes, Seafring, as far as movies goes, I'm not talking about sales, but I'm
No,
talking
no.
about as which movie was better, it seems that people are turning more into the Sonic. I'm gonna look at the reviews over Mario. What
That's
say you?
perfectly fine. But let me give you my ranking. So we have two Sonic movies versus the one Mario movie. This
Hmm.
is where I would put them: Sonic One, Mario, Sonic Two.
Oh, the way I have it. Okay.
Yeah, as I completely agree with you. The first Sonic movie did a fantastic job of establishing character backstories, character motivations, character development in the first film. Introduce us to Jim Carrey's Dr. Eggman, which the man doesn't miss really. Um, the the second film built up on that, gave us Knuckles, gave us Tails,
Hmm.
and Idris Elba playing Knuckles was just fantastic. Um, his deadpan delivery of his lines and the fact that he could not understand technology at first was just so fucking funny. And that's what puts Sonic 2 even over the Mario movie, even though I enjoyed the Mario movie more than I enjoyed the first Sonic movie. Because again, the Mario movie for me was a great start for the character as a film franchise now, but also introduces to enough other characters that now they can build into not only a sequel, but also offshoots for other characters. Maybe Donkey Kong gets his own movie or series based on, the movie version of Donkey Kong. The fact that they had the R Wing as a model on top of Mario's TV,
I
bam,
actually think a Star Fox movie
that introduces
would.
Star Fox.
I actually think a Star Fox movie would do very well
Absolutely, it would do
if done
fantastic.
correctly.
And the fact that Mario is only the number one guy, with The Legend of Zelda being their number two franchise, again, that opens doors for The Legend of Zelda being a film franchise going forward, thanks to the Mario movie. So, am I going to say the Mario movie is super fantastic? No, that's why I gave it an 8 out of 10. But as a vehicle for other Nintendo franchises to then be brought into the Hollywood light, it absolutely nailed its job. It
And
actually did what it was supposed to do
and
in
this
that
is the
regard.
and this is the reason why I mentioned in the podcast when we mentioned it before, but Hoovy kind of tried to dismiss it. Uh, I think this is going to start a massive of trend, especially when it comes to Nintendo. I think we're going to see a lot of Nintendo's franchises go into movies, and and
Mhm.
I'm most certainly looking forward to that because think about it. You have, like you said, you mentioned Star Fox. You see free mention a Metroid also one time,
Yes,
and dude, like the possibilities of how you could take that route. Me personally,
so many.
I don't think Nintendo's going to do this. I would absolutely love a true sci-fi, maybe somewhat horror type of feeling with Metroid. I don't think they're going to do that, but I would love it. Similar to how it is like with Prometheus or Alien, so to
Mhm.
speak. Man, I would so love that because she is a bounty hunter.
I
So
can't see that. I can see that happening, but you have to remember which audience this is going for. This is
true.
gonna. It's a Nintendo franchise, so even though she is a bounty hunter and she deals with aliens and she's constantly going after these big, nasty looking creatures, which we've seen all across the Metroid series, you have to keep in mind they're not going to show, aliens decapitating and eating humans. They're not going to show that.
But mind you, though, with Metroid the Other M, did have like a horror type vibe in that game.
It did, and if you, I don't know if you've at least tried it, but the latest Metroid Dread,
I mean, I meant Dread. I meant Dread. That's what
uh,
I meant. Dread.
Dread has moments where you're absolutely like scared, especially when you have to
Exactly.
face off against the robot things. Like if you touch one of them, that's an instant death. Like it kills
Exactly.
you immediately. So something like that, kind of sci-fi, not too much on the horror, but a little bit would be okay.
Yeah.
But just don't show the blood, gore, guts, and people being ripped to shreds. Like, don't do that.
Think
Don't.
it'll ruin it, huh?
Oh no, it would absolutely turn people off. Like, oh my god, is this what Nintendo really has people playing on their system? And then far too many people would go up in arms. No, 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 ban Nintendo and cancel Nintendo and cancel Metroid, and
Oh, okay.
it would open a can of worms that they really don't need to open because of that. And if they stick to it mostly as like a sci-fi, like if they played it more like let me think, what's another movie that could that's I can't really think of anything off the top of my head right now, but I'm pretty sure there's other films with a sci-fi capacity that aren't necessarily horror films but deal with alien interactions and things of that nature. Metroid could play off of something like that. But we will see. This is all speculation at this point.
Yeah.
We will see.
Okay. All right. On that
Yeah.
note,
Real quick, real fast. We didn't do a Sonic review or Sonic spoiler, but real quick, what would you guys score the first two Sonic movies? Real fast.
okay. First one, I will give it a 7.75.
Oh, okay.
And then the
Interesting.
second one I will give that one an 8.5.
All right, you see, Frank?
No, actually 8.25.
Okay.
Okay. I'll give the first one same 7.75. Very good. Mario was just a slight bit better. But the sequel, Sonic 2, definitely I would give it an 8.5, 8.5.
Okay. For me, I would give the first one I would give it an 8. And the second one, I actually would go really high, giving it a 9.
Wow.
I
Okay.
was really really entertained, with Sonic. I can't wait for the next one because we all know it seems like Shadow's
Oh
going to
yeah.
be on the next one. Frankly,
Absolutely.
I think probably a little too early to bring him, but you know what? I'm still excited.
Why not?
Regardless, I'm still excited regardless. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. And bro, it's back, man. Mario versus Sonic. I love it. Can continue to. I love the fact that they're still rivals and they're
Why
still
not?
relevant, iconic characters. So I'm definitely looking forward to future Sonic movies and future Mario or whatever Nintendo movie. So that's
Very
it.
nice. All right. So before we end, I actually have two bits of things to say. So before we wanted to find out who voiced the Luma Lee, little
Oh,
star that gave all those out of left field comments in the film.
creepy
Uh,
comments.
the voice actor is actually named Eric Bauza, Bauza, not like
Okay.
Bowser. He's been in many different things. He's voiced many different characters. Something a little bit more recent that he was in terms of films was he was in Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh,
He was the voice of Splinter in that film. In Space Jam: A New Legacy, he actually voiced Daffy Duck, Porky Pig, Elmer Fudd,
what?
Foghorn Leghorn, and Marvin the Martian.
Huh. So he did
What?
all
So
those.
this guy's got talent.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, and here's the other bit of news. As of 3 days ago, the Mario movie has passed $1 billion in
I just
global
saw that.
sales.
I just read that article just now.
Yes,
I
3 days ago it passed $1 billion. It did, see, 490 million in the U.S. and 532.5 million on the global market. So yes, the Mario movie is now a certified $1 billion film.
Yep. Yeah. I'm just gonna read the headline right here. Mario movies official smashes 1 billion. Globally. Listen. I just have to say,
They earned it.
congratulations. Yes, congratulations, Nintendo. He made. I mean, Mario. Like I said, we all agree Mario is one of the most iconic video game characters of all time,
Mhm.
and they're going to continue to make more money out of this. And this just opens the door for, like I said, brand new possibilities for the Nintendo franchise, and even in games
Absolutely.
in the gaming industry in general. So I
Yes.
am really happy, to see these numbers. It shows that it doesn't have to be woke in order to be good. Just make a good movie, stick it like with the source material, and just have fun with it, and then we'll have fun with it. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Great job, Nintendo. Great job.
Okay, on that note, let's get out of here, man. This is
Absolutely.
26. Have a good night. You guys can say your goodbyes.
All right,
All
yeah.
right.
So this is the Traditionalist 101. Remember, everybody, hold on to tradition. That's how society works. That's how society functions. God loves you. You all have a good one. And Seafring, I guess you could just tell people about your stuff.
Absolutely. So BHC Cross Stark of the Black Hood Crew. My name and everything are right here by where my finger is. So YouTube and Facebook at the Black Hood Crew. I actually fixed my name on YouTube. So now the at symbol says Black Hood Crew. So now it's a direct
Yes.
link. You can find it now. And you can follow along at my name directly: Twitch, Twitter, Steam, Trovo, TikTok, Instagram. I stream almost every single day, except for weekends. Gotta rest sometime, right? So for everyone out there, my sign off is always be safe, be smart, and be excellent to each other. Take it easy.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. And your videos remind me of Hoovy. Hoovy used to do those type of videos. And man, I completely forgot. We need to have a discussion about the game of the year thing because you and I had a huge debate with that.
Ah,
Even
you already
Hoovy
know
came
my
along
choice.
with it. Yeah, Hoovy came along with it and mentioned it. But we'll talk about that, some other day. But
Going
God
forward,
bless you
absolutely.
all. This was fantastic. Appreciate you guys.
All right, have a good night.